and the Rockies. If the rain stops, those of you expecting to see that game will see it. But right now, let's send it out to Jeff Torborg and John Rooney for the Cubs and the Padres.
The fans at Wrigley are back on their feet as the Cubs have good reason to celebrate. Manager Jim Riggleman knows why.
We have really played good baseball. We've run the bases good. We've played good defense. We've executed well. We've done little things very well. We also have taken advantage of some timely hitting. Sosa with some late inning home runs, Sandberg, Grace. They've gotten some real big hits for us, and that's kept us in there.
As the Cubs strive to ascend in the NL Central, the San Diego Padres cringe at their recent lackluster performance, and they're looking for an answer to their woes. It's the Padres and Cubs from Wrigley Field on Fox. Nothing like a sunny Saturday afternoon at the ballpark with a hot dog, and on this Father's Day weekend, the sons and daughters are bringing Dad out to the ballpark to enjoy a day in the sunshine. From Wrigley Field in Chicago, it's the Chicago Cubs hosting the San Diego Padres. Checking the standings in the National League Western Division, it's only a half game late for San Diego as the Padres have lost 8 in a row, while in the NL Central, the Chicago Cubs are trailing the Houston Astros by just 2 games. Hello, everyone. I'm John Rooney along with Jeff Torborg. For those of you expecting to see the Philadelphia Phillies at the Colorado Rockies, they're having weather problems in Denver, so we'll keep you updated on the status of that game as you watch the Cubs and the San Diego Padres. But, Jeff, with the Cubs winning, they have won 6 out of 7, 10 of the last 14. Pitching has to figure in there somewhere.
Oh, they're having fun. Their pitching's coming together. They've gotten a couple complete games. You can see in the last 7 games they really improved their pitching. When you know that your pitching staff is coming along, the rest of the team kind of follows. Pitching sets the tone.
Riggleman mentioned a while ago that clutch hitting was involved with the Chicago Cubs' success, and Sammy Sosa is leading the National League with 22 home runs.
This guy is really exciting. I had the pleasure of managing him on the other side of town. He's a young kid who can do anything, and he's got great power, and he's won 3 games already in the last at bat with a home run. He has all the potential in the world to be possibly the home run champion in this league.
However, missing from our game today, 2 key first basemen, Wally Joyner for the San Diego Padres, and Mark Grace is out for the Chicago Cubs. He was placed on the DL with a bad back.
Well, that hurts both these clubs. These guys are good players. They're good offensive players, but they're also outstanding glove men. They're both former Gold Glovers. When you lose corner people, it really hurts. And when you're a club like the Padres are in a losing streak like now, they are hurting so badly. They are really missing Wally Joyner with the glove as well as with the bat.
And that shows up in unearned runs. As far as the last 11 games go, the unearned runs have started to pile up for the San Diego Padres, and they could certainly use Wally Joyner at first base.
Well, you can see what's happened in these last 13 games. They've been struggling, and there's no wonder they're 1-10, but they have a lot of guys injured. Some of their key defensive people are hurt, too, and that really takes its toll on a club. We
have a gorgeous day in Chicago. The Cubs are hosting the San Diego Padres. Our matchup, Tim Worrell for San Diego. Jamie Navarro will be on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. We'll be back to Wrigley Field after you view these messages from your local station.
Fox Saturday Baseball.
Major League Baseball on Fox is brought to you in part by Cadillac and your local Cadillac dealer.
Cadillac DeVille is now better than ever with the North Star system. Which means if you're looking for more power and control in your life, now's the perfect time to trade up to a new DeVille. Now just $469 a month with $26.75 down. You won't be the only one. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Cadillac dealers.
Oh, the kids are always glued to the TV at dinner time because that's when all the cool stuff's on. But lately, rounding them up hasn't been that much of a struggle. Maybe they're starting to understand the concept of family time. Or maybe there's just nothing good on.
You take care of the distractions. We'll cook. The Boston Market Feast. Your choice of entree, any 3 large sides, cornbread, and a whole apple pie. Starting at $15.99.
Don't mess with dinner.
Nothing else comes close. For comfort, for fit. Make sure you get genuine jockey.
Genuine people. Genuine jockey. Metra's making your summer travel easier and more economical. Because now through Labor Day, our popular weekend family fares are good on weekdays, too.
I was on my way out to buy milk.
Woo!
I bought a Saturn instead.
But first I checked out
Resale value.
dependability,
Price.
I kicked a few tires,
I kicked a few doors.
and found Saturn
to be the best value.
makes me look good.
That's for sure. My insurance agent,
My sister-in-law,
Our piercer.
had good things to say.
Way to go, you got a new Saturn.
my friend and I went to the local Saturn store.
And got the same price. That's how Saturn is.
It's a good value for all the gizmos you get.
It was like shopping at the mall. Yeah. You get what you want and you can return it if you're not happy. Yep, that's true.
Harry Voltman, weekends on Fox News.
A look at the Hancock Building in Chicago. We're at Wrigley Field today for the Chicago Cubs and the San Diego Padres. And here's the new Miller Beer starting lineup for the San Diego Padres. Leading off and playing left field, it'll be Ricky Henderson. Steve Finley's in center field. Then Tony Gwynn in right field. 332, 10th best in the National League. Ken Caminetti is at third base. Jason Thompson plays first base today, with Jody Reed at second, Luis Lopez at shortstop, Brad Osmus is catching, and Tim Worrell is on the mound. And Jeff Torborg, the defensive alignment for the Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs set up like this, John. Luis Gonzalez in left field, Brian McRae in center field. Sammy Sosa is the right fielder. David Magan is at third base today. Jose Hernandez is at shortstop. Ryan Sandberg at second base. 24-year-old Brant Brown makes his first major league start today. Scott Service is a catcher, and Jamie Navarro is the pitcher. 6'4", 230-pound Jamie Navarro, 28 years of age, hard thrower. Big horse on this ball club, the man who gives them the big innings.
He's coming off a complete game against the Philadelphia Phillies and won a 2-1 decision. He allowed just 3 hits. He walked 4 and struck out 6. And we got to see a lot of him while he was with the Milwaukee Brewers over in the American League, Jeff.
Yeah, John, he came over to this ball club last year from the Brewers, came to spring training in what they said the best shape of his life, and ended up winning 14 games. He was 14-6, pitched 200 innings. And he's the kind of guy that Jim Riggleman loves to leave out there as long as he can get him through the game. Hopefully he can get him through 9.
The umpires for the game today at Wrigley Field. Greg Bonin will have the plate. Frank Pulley is going to be at first base. Bob Davidson will be at second. And Larry Poncino will be umpiring at third. Could not ask for better weather here, Jeff. The weather in the Midwest has been terrible. I'm sure they can say the same in the East and in New England. But today we have temperatures in the high 70s, lower 80s throughout Chicagoland. The bleachers are filling up. There will be a full house here. And what a wonderful weekend to finally get outside and watch some baseball in Chicago.
Well, they've been waiting for this weather to come. You can see the fans in shirt sleeves. Just last week they were out here with gloves and parkas on. And of course, with a lake effect, anything can happen. But what a beautiful day. And the perspective from this ballpark, a special old ballpark. Ernie Banks used to say, let's play 2 in the beautiful, friendly confines of Wrigley. And I can see what he was talking about.
Well, maybe the confines are a little bit friendlier for the San Diego Padres, who on the road have won 18 and lost 12, while at home they're 18 and 19. And they've lost 8 in a row, Jeff. You as a manager, and Bruce Bochy, I'm sure, has gone through everything he can possibly go through. But what can he do now to help this team break out of it?
Yes, to just stay positive. He and I were talking about it yesterday. He said, do you have any suggestions? I said, well, I've lost plenty of ball games, and I know the terrible feeling, but your team looks to you to see how positive you're staying and making sure you're not really getting tight about it. And Bruce Bochy is down. You can tell he's down, but he's also trying to keep his team alive. And of course, Jim Riggleman on the other side of the field has done a terrific job with this club. They were struggling. They're 2/5 of their starting rotation not even here anymore, or actually not in the starting rotation. Jim Bulledge has moved to the bullpen and Kevin Foster to the minor leagues. But Jim Riggleman has kept this club together. He's a very positive guy, and then Bochy is doing the same thing on the other side of the field.
We're set to play baseball with Jamie Navarro facing Tim Worrell today. And Navarro will first face Ricky Henderson. Left fielder, the all-time base-stealing leader in Major League Baseball. He has 68 leadoff home runs, so he brings a pretty good combination to the plate. Strike 1 called to Ricky Henderson, who's hitting at .222 with 4 home runs and 15 runs batted in, but 68 leadoff home runs.
Yeah, I was a coach on the Yankees for many years when Ricky was there. He is really an exciting player. And when you're in the other dugout trying to defend against him, he was always so tough. He's struggling right now, but he's also getting a lot of walks.
That's to third, and Magadan, after picking it up, gets Ricky Henderson, and that's the way our game begins today. Dave Magadan, that is, over to Brant Brown to retire Henderson.
Well, Dave Magadan's a good third baseman now. When I first went over the Mets as a manager, he had been a first baseman, and he asked me if he could play some third because we had acquired Eddie Murray. I said, sure, let's see what you could do. He worked hard at it, and Dave is a good guy in a ball club.
But now with Brant Brown coming up, they look at him as perhaps the next Mark Grace. They really like his glove. They feel he's a line drive hitter. So he's getting a chance to play with Grace on the DL. Finley bunts it all the way over the screen for a strike. Steve Finley, the center fielder, hitting at .260. He has 9 home runs and 33 runs batted in, and I've always liked watching him play.
Yeah, he's a good player. He had trouble here on Thursday night that might have cost him the ball game on a line drive by Sammy Sosa in the 8th inning when they were leading by a run. That handcuffed him, went off his glove. He kind of turned the wrong way, and when you're losing, every little thing goes wrong. But it's nice to see him try to get on anyway.
Way outside from Jamie Navarro. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out. We're just getting started today at Wrigley Field. The Dodgers won, so the heat is on even a little bit higher now in the San Diego Padres, who are atop the West. Out of play down the left field line. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Finley with Tony Gwynn on deck.
One of the things as a manager you stress with your club when you're losing is don't lose your aggressiveness. Don't wait for something to happen to beat you. Try to go out and take the game to the opposition. That's what Steve Finley tried to do on a bunt before. He's trying to make something happen.
Breaking ball misses for ball 2. For those of you expecting the Philadelphia-Colorado game, rain problems in Denver, so welcome into our telecast of the San Diego Padres and the Cubs, and we'll keep you updated on the status of the game from Coors Field. No score here, 1 out. Steve Finley batting. He was jammed, and the shortstop Jose Hernandez has to play. 2 down on ground balls. Ricky Henderson to third, Steve Finley to the shortstop. So I mean Tony Gwynn grounds to second base.
Well, I don't know. When I think of Tony Gwynn and think that he's hitting .332 and everybody thinks that he's struggling, isn't that some testimony to kind of hitter you are?
6-time batting champion Tony Gwynn bothered by a very sore right heel. So Nike has made a special shoe for him while he's batting, and he's been wearing cross trainers with cleats while playing in the field. Ground ball to second. I guess it means he grounds to Ryan Sandberg. Around the horn, Magadan, Hernandez, and Sandberg make plays on ground balls, and Jamie Navarro is off to a good start. The Padres fail to score. The Cubs are coming to bat against Tim Morrell.
This man thinks he's just won the lottery. He hasn't. He also thinks he's tasted new Miller beer. He hasn't. Brand new Miller beer. Why miss out? Look for the red label.
I do not drive to work. I do not drive to get from point A to point B. I do not drive to run away from the world. I just love to drive.
The new 1996 Monte Carlo. Personal space from genuine Chevrolet. The cars more Americans trust. See your Chevy dealer for special 4.8% APR financing on Monte Carlo.
There's a place in New York owned by the biggest sports stars around.
You know, I like to with long hair.
And you never know when they'll show up.
Long. Short.
It's the official All-Star Cafe.
Ken Griffey Jr., 301 lifetime average.
Where the owners are always willing to help out.
Excuse me, it's 302.
So if you go, bring the right stats and the right card. Visa, because the All-Star doesn't take American Express.
301 lifetime average.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Now, this couple thinks they've just stretched out on a bearskin rug. They haven't. They also think they've tasted new Miller beer. They haven't. Brand new Miller beer. Why miss out? Look for the red label.
Jamie Navarro made very quick work of the San Diego Padres in the top of the first inning, and now the new Miller Beer starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs. Brian McRae leads off in center field. Batting second, Brant Brown at first base in his first game. Luis Gonzalez in left field, and Sammy Sosa, 22 home runs, leading the National League in right. Dave Magadan at third, Ryan Sandberg at second. Scott Service is catching. Jose Hernandez hits 8th at shortstop, and Jamie Navarro bats 9th. And the defensive alignment for the Padres, Jim.
For the Padres in left field, of course, is Ricky Henderson. Steve Finley's in center field. Tony Gwynn is in right field. Ken Caminiti, and folks, you might be seeing the best infield arm you'll ever see. He's a Gold Glove third baseman, can really throw. Luis Lopez is the shortstop. Jody Reed is at second base. Jason Thompson is the first baseman. Brad Osmus is the catcher, and the pitcher is Tim Morrell, 28 years old, 4-1 at this particular point. coming off a very, very serious elbow surgery a year ago and making his second start this season.
Major League record of 7-9 for Tim Worrell. The leadoff batter for the Cubs is Brian McRae, their center fielder. 1-0 on McRae, switch batting outfielder. It's .273, and he has 3 home runs, 22 runs batted in. Came up with the Kansas City Royals under his father, Hal McRae. 2 balls and no strikes. And Tim Worrell does not want to put Brian McRae on base leading off the ballgame.
No, Brian McRae, of course, is leading the National League in stolen bases. Very aggressive base runner.
That's a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike on McRae. Brant Brown will follow, and then Luis Gonzalez.
You like to see a leadoff hitter with a philosophy of trying to make the pitcher work. Don't go after the first pitch. Make him work.
A bunt on the first base side. Jason Thompson to the line, and he tags Brian McRae. 1 out. With Wally Joyner out of there. Not a bad idea for Brian McRae, who brings a package of speed, some power. Does a great job when he's in the outfield, but couldn't bunt his way on against Tim Worrell. And Worrell will face Brant Brown now. Brown just joined the team today. He was playing with the Iowa Cubs at AAA in the American Association, where he batted .316. That's going to go out of play in a souvenir. Lower level at Wrigley Field, off to the left.
John, they're very high on Brant Brown. He's 6'3", 205. He's 24, turned 25 this June 22nd. But he's the same kind of hitter. Now, I don't know if he's a quality hitter that we've already been talking about, what the Grace people have seen for years here.
Jamming him. Worrell gets the count to no balls and 2 strikes on Brant Brown.
But he is not a big power hitter. He's the type of hitter who uses a whole field line drive type of hitter, and he had played at Fresno State in the College World Series of 1991, where he's a second-team All-American.
Missing outside, Tim Worrell has a 1-2 count on the number 2 hitter. No score in the bottom of the first inning at Wrigley Field on a gorgeous day in Chicago. Hit hard foul down the right field line. That'll scatter them down in the bullpen area. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Brown. We're told Brown is a clone of Mark Grace. If that's true, the Cubs are in good shape for years to come here.
That means he's a pretty darn good hitter. Mark Grace is a good hitter.
It also means he's a good glove man. Just protecting the plate, Brown stays alive at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
John, why is it that left-handed hitters, we say this all the time, look so much prettier hitting? I mean, they don't seem to work so hard. They're just relaxed. They flip at the ball. Brant Brown just fouled that ball off very gently to left field. He just tore a fastball down the right field line with a pretty swing.
That's a line set for a hit. Brown is on. Tony Gwynn over in the gap to cut it off, holding Brown to a long single.
Well, we'll see. Let's look at his Cub uniform to see if the heart is really pounding on it. Here's the swing again. This is a pretty swing. Ball low and away, just goes out and serves the ball beautifully into right center field. What a nice looking stroke. Look at his head down. He's getting a standing ovation, John. Here's a young kid, comes up, first major league at bat, gets a base hit, and the home crowd gives him a standing ovation. What could be better than that?
And to answer your question, I think of the sweet swings from the left side of Stan Musial, Will Clark with the Giants and the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, there's a sweet swinger. Billy Williams in the dugout.
Out of play off the bat of Luis Gonzalez. 1 strike.
There's Billy. I played against him for so many years. He's from Whistler, Alabama. Everybody called him Whistler. Had a little trick. He'd kind of spit and then hit it. Now, I guess it's not real cool to talk about that on the air. But I don't know whether he was keeping his head down the ball, but he never missed it when he spit out and hit it out of his bat. And he never missed anything else either, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
With a runner going. In center field, Steve Finley. He has it tracked. Brown returns to first as Gonzalez flies to center field for the 2nd out. 1 on and 2 out. And here is Sammy Sosa, the right fielder, coming up. You look at Brant Brown over at first base. His first big league at bat, got a single to right center field. Sammy Sosa's average is starting to climb now. 248. He has 22 home runs, 49 runs batted in. Plenty of fans, as you see in the bleachers, for Sammy Sosa.
Sammy has all sorts of mannerisms, but boy, he's an exciting player, and he loves to come to the park.
A little bit high to Sammy Sosa as Tim Worrell started with a fastball, 1 ball and no strikes.
Just think this guy is a 30-30 guy twice. Over 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases twice in his career already.
Only 1 in Cub history.
When we first got him in a trade in July of 1989, he was a real raw kid. He had great tools. He could run. He can throw. He's got good power. Oof.
He likes to show off that arm. Breaking ball fouled back. Sammy has a 1 ball and 1 strike count. Sosa is leading the National League with the 22 home runs. And this park suits him just fine, Jeff. He can hit the ball out any part of this park.
He sure can. You know, he's been around a while. When you all of a sudden you look up and he's still only 27 years old. An all-star last year, and the fans just love him here. And boy, he's an exciting player.
That's a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Now there's something he didn't do when he was younger, Johnny. As you remember, he was not selective at all at the plate. He used to laugh sometimes. And I said, Sam, would you mind getting a better hop? He would swing at some balls that were in the dirt.
And he'd hit some of them. He had a home run swing there. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Of course, one of the greatest bad ball hitters of all time was Yogi Berra. They said, why did you swing at the ball in the dirt? Yogi said, well, it looked pretty good to me on the second hop there, and he just went to attacking it. Sammy has become a much more selective hitter now as he's getting older. And he's a very streaky hitter. There'll be times when he just struggles making contact, but when he gets locked in, he is really tough.
Jammed him and a ground ball to the right side. Long run for Jody Reed, and he can't make the play. Reed was playing up the middle. Sosa hustled down the line, and there was no throw. Brown goes to second base, and the Cubs have 2 men on with 2 out.
I'll tell you, John, this is what power and speed does for you. They respect you defensively. Here's the pitch, a check swing. The ball was right about on the mark on the bat where they had the white mark, but Sammy's speed forced Jody Reed to even hustle even harder, and he couldn't take his time and time that ball. But, you know, the guy who has speed and power, as you can see this ball again on the replay, is going away from where Jody Reed was playing. And, of course, Jody Reed knows the speed of the runner, and Sammy Sosa had to really rush that play.
Here's Dave Magadan, the third baseman now. Playing in his 11th game, a 160 average. 2 on and 2 out. 1 strike as Worrell got his slider over. Tim Worrell threw a pretty good pitch in toward the hands of Sammy Sosa. But the speed is the one thing you can't teach, Jeff.
You're not kidding. That's what you say about a ball club with team speed. Totally. You say that you can bring it to the ballpark every day, and it never goes in slumps.
Down the right field line, that's going to be fouled. 2 strikes on Magadan.
Now, Dave Magadan has been a good hitter in the major leagues for a long time. He was an outstanding college player at Alabama, I remember. And when I saw him come to the big leagues, he's related to Lou Piniella. He must have some hitting genes in that family.
The red dots indicate runners at first and second for the Cubs. No score, no 2 count on Magadan. Sosa is on first base, and Brant Brown, after getting his first big league hit, is the runner at second. A little bit high in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's interesting to watch Magadan hit. You know, he's a big guy. He's tall, but he doesn't try to jack the ball. He doesn't try to drive it out of the ballpark. He'll take what they give you. As the pitcher pitches to him, if it's outside, he'll shoot it to left field, which he did on Thursday night to tie the game with a big base hit to left field.
The runners have good leads. Outside to Magadan. Oh, delay call, 3rd strike by Greg Bonin. And Magadan argues the call. So the Cubs leave 2 on, and after 1 inning, we have no score.
Genuine Chevrolet. Then and now, the cars more Americans trust.
You know, I think we should have a talk.
All right.
People together like Pizza Hut Pizza.
I'm glad we had that talk.
Yeah, still more often.
Network MCI asks, how do you go deep 2 ways?
Get it! 3-run homer, Todd Hundley.
he is so strong that when he just gets ahead of the bat of the ball, he hits it a long way. Pound for pound, he's the strongest man in the National League. That's a gutter! One from the right side of the plate, the other from the left.
That's the second time this year he's done that.
Network MCI, that's how.
This is about the virtual office, about breaking the chains, stretching the boundaries, and making the world your workplace, about taking your business everywhere and anywhere, about paging, laptops, cell phones, the internet, and conferencing. And it's not conversation or speculation. This is about how one company can give you the help, hardware, and software to make your virtual office a reality. This is about how far you can go once you know how. Network MCI, that's how.
Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust.
We're going to prison to find out how to be better fathers.
You think that you can give me another chance to be your daddy?
Yes. George Foreman hosts Bad Dads Sunday.
The Phillies and the Rockies are in a rain delay, but it looks like that might be some good news. They're lifting the tarp, and as soon as we can get you to that game, we will. For those of you expecting to see the Phillies and the Rockies. In the meantime, we're in Chicago at Wrigley Field. 1 strike to count. The leadoff batter for the San Diego Padres in the second inning is Ken Caminiti. Tim Morrell got a called 3rd strike against Dave Magadan to leave 2 base runners on, so he's trying to keep cool here today. 1 ball and 1 strike on Caminiti, batting at .299, 8 home runs and 32 runs batted in. And here's a player who is not at all afraid to play hurt, Jeff.
Oh, John, this guy's a horse, and he's tough. He's got a bad shoulder, and yesterday when we were talking with him, he wouldn't tell me what hurts the most, but I think it hurts to raise his shoulder, to dive for the ball and hitting from one side.
Popped up left side. Dave Magadan is chasing it. He runs out of room.
Earlier this year when Caminiti was trying to play on a bad hamstring, he said, I can't come out of the lineup. My team needs me. Then he had a rib problem. Now his shoulder's bothering him, but he keeps right on playing. This guy is a good, hard-nosed player that every type of team needs as a leader. And to add to that, he's got great tools. He's a Gold Glove third baseman.
Finally won a Gold Glove after spending several years in Houston diving on the artificial turf. Foul ball, as you heard from the first base umpire, Frank Pulley.
I like that. We talk about the sounds of baseball, and there's Frank Pulley now talking to young Brant Brown, who's feeling pretty good about himself. And here's another shot of this ball going down the first base line. Brown breaking for the ball. Tries to backhand it. Cannot get to the ball. Frank Pulley makes the emphatic foul.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Caminiti. Jason Thompson will be next. Fastball, and that got him. Ken Caminiti's the first strikeout for Jamie Navarro, and number 65 this season for the Cub right-hander.
You know, Navarro throws real good, John. When you look at this big guy and realize that at 6'4", 230, he's got a 90-mile-an-hour-plus fastball. And when you get that up in the strike zone and really pop it, some hitters will have trouble getting on top of it.
Broken back ground ball by Thompson to Sandberg. 2 out. 5 in a row retired by Jamie Navarro. Jason Thompson started the day at .333. No homers and a run batted in. Now Jody Reed will come up to face this man, Jamie Navarro. Jamie is from a baseball family. Julio Navarro is a major league pitcher.
Yeah, I played against his dad. His dad played for the Angels and the Braves. Good, big, hard thrower also, just like his son. But I started to say something before about if you throw the fastball 90+ up in the strike zone, a lot of people can't get on top of the ball. Most people can't get on top of the ball. And of course, the very next pitch he throws to the next hitter breaks the bat in half.
Jody Reed, .243 hitter, no home runs and 26 runs batted in. That's a strike. Greg Bonin has been giving a little bit to the outside corner, and Dave Magadan will attest to that.
I'll agree with that.
In the crowd, look out, line drive for strike 2.
But you know, John, I was talking with the coaches yesterday with the Padres. Had a chance just to talk about catching, and Bob Tewksbury came up to me. He said, well, when you caught, how did you catch? I said, I tried to sit on the outside part of the plate, move around, and really help my pitcher. Well, Ausmus was sitting way out there, and they threw right to him, and he got the call. So you might not be right on the edge of the plate.
Service goes out there. And got the call. 2 strikeouts for Jamie Navarro. 6 up and 6 down for the Cub right-hander. We go to the bottom of the 2nd inning at Wrigley Field. No score between the Cubs and the Padres.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me.
Your turn, man.
When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good.
I think she digs you.
Really?
No. Beyond the sea, somewhere.
Someday, my office will have a window. Someday, my boss will be me. Someday, I will meet the man of my dreams. Guess not today.
The Chevy Camaro's 200 horsepower, 3800 V6. Therapeutic, isn't it?
When do you take your Pepsid AC? Well, you can take it before a meal to prevent heartburn, or take it like you would an antacid after the meal to relieve heartburn. Before or after, one tiny Pepsid AC can control acid all night so you can sleep. Nothing lasts longer. And no other acid controller relieves heartburn faster. Not Zantac 75, not Tagamet HB. Pepsid AC. Before or after, you can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. By Miller Lite, when you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Pepsid AC Acid Controller. You can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field in Chicago. No score. Jamie Navarro has thrown just 17 pitches to Padre hitters through the 1st inning and a half. Cubs are sending up Ryne Sandberg, Scott Service, and Jose Hernandez to face Tim Worrell here in the 2nd inning. Tim and Todd Worrell had arm problems, and Tim is fighting his way back in, having a very good season. 4-1 with a 1.89 ERA. Now he's in the starting rotation now that Ashby is on the DL.
Yeah, it amazes me when guys come back from that radical surgery, and they continue to do so.
Here's Sandberg leading off. 1 strike. Breaking ball on the outside part of the plate.
You know, I talked with Ryan yesterday about how tough it was laying off for a year and a half. Was there one part of the game that was tougher to come back to?
Out of play, and the count on Sandberg, no balls and 2 strikes, and he was stepping toward 3rd on that pitch.
And he didn't say any one particular part of this game, but you know how difficult it is to hit. And you lay off for a year and a half, and of course you're a year and a half older too, especially when you put in as many years as he has. His power has not suffered, as we noticed by the home run total, but his batting average has.
Base hit on an 0-2 pitch for Sandberg, leading off the 2nd inning. A pair of number 23s come back, Sandberg and Michael Jordan in this town. Let's go back to Chip Carey in Hollywood and get an update.
Okay, John, thanks a lot. At Recon Park in San Francisco, the Killer Bees strike again. Craig Biggio with a 1st inning 2-run home run scores James Murtaugh. The Astros with a 1.5 lead over the Cardinals in the National League Central. Back to you at Grandpa's place.
And he said to say hello, by the way, Chip. So we'll pass that along to you from Harry Carey. Biggio, how about Bagwell yesterday?
4 doubles. All Bagwell is doing now for Houston is he's 3rd in the batting race over there, 3rd in home runs, and 1st in RBIs. Not bad.
Ryne Sandberg is on base here for the Cubs, with Scott Service the batter. And Tim Worrell paying attention to Sandberg. That's called a strike. Service is hitting .253. He has 9 home runs and 32 runs batted in. He's given the Cub lineup some pop. And this is a team that's going to hit some home runs.
Yeah, this ballpark is conducive for that, but Scott Service is a guy that's really made himself a good player. He's a tough competitor, and he came over here from Houston last year, and it was just the ingredient that he needed to send his career into a different direction.
In center field, Steve Finley. He circles it and makes the catch. 1 on and 1 out as Service flies to center field. Sandberg hustles back to 1st. Jose Hernandez, the shortstop, playing in place of the injured Ray Sanchez. Hernandez will be the batter. Tim Worrell has allowed 2 hits in 1 inning, and then a leadoff single here in the 3rd to Ryan Sandberg, but no runs so far.
Well, that's very important for the Padres club that they send a guy out who's replacing one of their aces. Andy Ashby went on the DL. He was 7-2 when he went on, and Tim Worrell stepped into his spot.
With the runner going. Ball and out at second, Ryan Sandberg. Caught stealing for the 2nd time in 7 attempts.
That was a good quick release. Brad Ausmus, the young catcher of the 2 catchers, is smaller and quicker. The other, Brian Johnson, is not as quick. Now here's a delivery, not a bad jump, and the throw is right on the money, and the tag is placed on Ryan Sandberg. So the catcher did a lot of it himself.
Big swing and a miss by Jose Hernandez. 1 ball and 1 strike. The play, Ausmus to Luis Lopez. 2-6 on the caught stealing and 2 out. Thus Worrell can go back to the full windup now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big breaking ball that time from Tim Worrell.
John Worrell has got a couple fastballs. He throws a cross-seam fastball, which is straight, a 2-seamer that sinks, that big slider, and in a circle change.
Up and in this time. Jose Hernandez has a 2-2 count. If he gets on base, Jamie Navarro will bat. No score in the 2nd inning. Finley with a long run. Moving toward the track. He has it. Jose Hernandez flies to Finley. No runs a hit. And a man caught stealing. Ryan Sandberg was thrown out. Ausmus to Lopez. We played through 2 innings at Wrigley Field. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball.
A question answered. A problem solved. A favor unasked. A thank you unspoken. A hand. A smile. A welcome. Little things to some, but to 250,000 people who board an American Airlines flight every day, the little things, quite often, can make the biggest difference.
Now, this is interesting.
It's contemporary. Touches of gold are nice.
We can save $2,500. So we get the sculpture?
I'd prefer the Cadillac DeVille.
Lease the special edition DeVille now for just $469 a month with $2,675 down, and you'll save $2,500 in options, including leather, chrome wheels, gold trim, and custom roof.
See anything you like?
Actually, we do.
See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Cadillac dealers.
This is a DHL jumbo box. If you want to send an international shipment of up to 55 pounds for a low flat rate, all you have to do is put it in this box and phone DHL. We'll pick it up and deliver it fast, door to door, from the U.S. to virtually anywhere else in the world. The DHL jumbo box, the easy way to ship large packages overseas.
Harry Voltman, weekends on Fox News.
There's Cubs injured first baseman Mark Grace on the 15-day disabled list, retroactive to Tuesday. He's been out of the lineup since that time, and with a very sore back, they decided to rest him. And Ken Caminiti, bothered by a sore shoulder, he is hanging in there, playing through his injured time. 1 strike to count. The leadoff batter for the Padres is Luis Lopez in the 3rd inning. We have no score. 188 hitter with 2 home runs and 10 runs batted in. The 19th pitch by Jamie Navarro is fouled back. 0-2.
You know, you have to play this season. It becomes a very long season. It's a marathon, even though we're only in June. This season can get long, and injuries will come about, and the good players stay with it. They play hurt and try to execute through it.
Outside, Lopez with a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes. But how about Grace staying with the team, saying that if he can help a certain hitter, certain situation, or help a young infielder, so they have Brant Brown up now, it says a lot for his competitive attitude. There's Brown at first base. Navarro covers. Lopez is out. 3-1. Grace has decided to stay in uniform and travel with the team during his time on the DL. And he's doing a little coaching there in the dugout.
Well, he's been around a long time, has a lot of respect, knows the game well. For example, yesterday when Bob Tewksbury was pitching against him, he was helping the younger players. And I think that's really important with a club. On the other side of the field, you have Wally Jr. doing the same thing with his thumb in a cast. But it's team. You talk team, and it's one of the things that is really so hard to stress at this level.
Ball 1 to Brad Ausmus, hitting 8th in the lineup, catching for the San Diego Padres, hitting 182, 1 home run, 13 driven in. Slider misses outside to Ausmus. 2 balls and no strikes.
No, Ausmus is really struggling this year. He hit 293 last year in 103 games. Had a good year for him, and now he just can't seem to buy a hit.
Count goes to 3 balls and no strikes with the pitcher coming up next.
You know what's interesting to watch in the shots that we have here from center field is watch the catchers work. And we talked about a little bit earlier, if they work on the outer part of the plate, it helps their pitcher.
That's a strike. 3-1.
And then the catcher, after setting up, and if the first pitch maybe was a little too far out, he'll slide back in. Or if it was a little too far in, he'll slide back out. But they really try to help their pitcher's location.
Oh, a good running fastball into the right-handed hitter. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And with what Jamie Navarro is trying to do now with his catcher Scott Service, they're getting the umpire Greg Bonin into the ballgame, aren't they?
Yeah, they really are. They're trying to throw right to his target.
On the third base line. Magadan. Not in time. That's a hit for Ausmus, the first hit of the day against Navarro.
Well, Ausmus can run, and that was a tough play. That ball just kind of chopped down and bounced a little toward the third base foul line. Dave Magadan came in and tried to barehand the ball and throw it at the same time off his right foot. Couldn't get much on the ball, and Ausmus runs well and was able to beat it out.
Ausmus was already out of the picture past first base. Here's Tim Worrell, 0 for 3. He has a couple of sacrifices to his credit. Dave Magadan will play in at third base now. 1 strike on Tim Worrell.
Well, here's the difference in the 2 leagues, John, of course, is with a pitcher hitting in the National League. And the pitcher has got to be able to bunt. And I know they work on it. They work on it every day before batting practice for the regular players. But it's so much different getting out here in the game conditions to try to bunt a high 90-mile-an-hour fastball is really a tough job.
Two strikes on Worrell.
Now that was not a fastball, that was a slider. Now a breaking ball is sometimes a little easier to bunt. Where you would like to try to make a guy bunt the ball is with a hard fastball up in the zone, because more often than not they'll pop it up. It's a very difficult ball to bunt.
0-2 on Worrell. At first base, Brad Ausmus. Ricky Henderson on deck. Worrell will try it again with 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Now we were talking before, you can see in the shot right now how far out in the almost in the left-hander's batter's box or behind it Scott Service got for his pitcher, and I think that's really important. Too many young catchers are worried about moving too soon. Now here's a shot with Service lining up on the outside part to begin with.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Navarro threw 2 wide breaking balls, and now an even count on pitcher Tim Worrell.
There's Bochy giving the signs to his third base coach. The relay to the pitcher. And in a situation when you know as a National League manager your pitcher doesn't hit very well, you'll even have him bunt with 2 strikes as he's doing here and just hope he might be able to get it down.
Ausmus off to a lead at first base. Runner at first. He's gone. And that's a strikeout. With the foul ball on the bunt attempt, strike 3. Let's go back to Chip Carey in Hollywood and get an update.
Okay, John, Craig Biggio's up to it again. 3 home runs now in his last 2 days. A 2-run shot in the first, a solo job in the third, putting the Astros up 3-0. It's his 9th of the year, and by the way, that's one more than Jeff Torborg's career total of 8. Back to you guys at Wrigley.
Oh, thanks a lot.
I love it. But when you hit them, Jeff, oh, did they go?
Oh, did they? I had 2 in this park alone, if you can believe that. That shows how small it is.
3 strikeouts for Jamie Navarro. Here's Ricky Henderson with the man at first. 1 ball, no strikes. Greg Bonin is very deliberate in his calls, so I'm waiting to make sure it's a ball or a strike.
Now, who do you think put him up to that? Saying that about my home run total? Just who do you think in that studio said that?
Steve Lyons. There's a ball high. 2 balls and no strikes on Ricky Henderson. The thing I like about Ricky, he never met a strike he ever liked.
No, he complains on every pitch, and he's always been a croucher. He's not crouched as much now as he used to be, as I remember, and he made the strike zone even smaller with that real exaggerated crouch.
3 balls, no strikes to count on Ricky Henderson. He grounded out leading off the game. Jamie Navarro, tall right-handed pitcher. He's about 225, 230, 28 years old. There's Ricky Henderson. Stands way back in the box. That strike zone is getting smaller. Ball 4 for Ricky Henderson. 2 on with 2 out. The Padres have something going for the first time today, as Navarro had retired the first 7 batters he faced.
That crouch does have an effect on a pitcher, too, because if he gets so low and he stays in it and doesn't come out of it, that's where the umpire will set his strike zone. And I think years ago, Ricky crouched even more than this. And, of course, Tony Phillips does the same thing. And now, all of a sudden, it makes the pitcher come into the strike zone and makes the hitter more of a high ball hitter because he's so crouched.
Where do you think Tony learned that?
I think it was from Ricky playing with him. I agree.
61 walks this season for Ricky Henderson, leading the National League, and Tony Phillips is right with Frank Thomas leading the American League. Steve Finley grounded out the first time up. Count 1 ball, no strikes. Finley is trying to pick up Brad Ausmus at second base. Ricky Henderson is at first. 2 outs. Lopez and Tim Worrell made the outs, and the red dots indicate the base runners. Out of play down the left field line. Big swing by Steve Finley.
Now, by watching that play develop, or actually I should say when Scott Service set up, gave the sign, and he was going inside, and Jamie Navarro threw that up and away, but he had so much on the ball that Steve Finley couldn't catch up to it. But watch how Service sets up now in the middle of the plate, gives his signs. Now he'll position himself where he wants to pitch.
To the shortstop, Jose Hernandez. Underhanding to Sandberg. And the Cubs get Ricky Henderson coming down. No runs, 1 hit, a walk. 2 left on. Go to the bottom of the 3rd. No score at Wrigley Field.
You're cruising at 13,000 feet. Winds are moderate, skies clear, a perfect day to jump. It's Blue Sky skydiving outside Seattle, where you can see the world at 160 miles an hour. So if you're crazy enough to try it, make sure you're smart enough to bring your Visa card, because at Blue Skies, American Express just won't fly. By the way, they do insist you pay first. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Harry Carey here's the ball boy. Runners at second and third. He struck him out. Oh, for the long one here. Then fought the station identification.
10 seconds, Harry.
Holy cow, I need another Big Bite pronto.
The 7-Eleven all-beef quarter-pound Big Bite hot dog, now just 99 cents. Boy, is that a mouthful.
Holy cow, we're back.
The human face, difficult terrain, perfect for Braun's new 3-stage shaving system. One foil removes short hairs, an integrated cutter, longer hairs. The second foil completes the job. For Braun's closest shave yet.
Athlete's foot. Why suffer the burning, the itching? Hit it hard with prescription strength Desonex. It has the same medicine that doctors prescribe. Nothing cures better. Nothing. Prescription strength Desonex, because prescription strength is strong medicine.
If you were to make a list of the safest towns in America, at the top of that list would be Eau Claire, Wisconsin. If you were to make a list of cars with the most standard safety features for the money, at the top of that list would be the Chevy Cavalier. So if you lived in Eau Claire and you drove a Cavalier, would that make you one of the safest people in America? Probably not, but it's a good start. The cars more Americans trust.
Paulie Shore and 90210's Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Can I call you Dad?
Son-in-Law World Broadcast premiere Tuesday.
It is still raining in Colorado and Denver. And at Coors Field, a rain delay between the Phillies and the Colorado Rockies. So we're happy to have the viewers waiting for that game joining us for the Cubs and the San Diego Padres. Here we're in the bottom of the third inning. A 0-0 game. Fernando Valenzuela, Bob Tewksbury. They have no fun at all, Jeff. There's no fun at all in that dugout.
They've lost 8 in a row, and they're having fun in there. I don't know if the manager would be too happy if they see this. But you know what? You do have to stay loose as long as you got your head in the game. Bob Tewksbury, he's a great kid. Look at this.
It's a good look, isn't it?
Yeah. No, they're acting like he's knocking his teeth out. He's an artist. Maybe he made those.
A few smiles in the other dugout. Grace has a little bit to do with that, I'm sure. 1-0 the count on Jamie Navarro. It's the pitcher, and then Brian McRae and Brant Brown in the third inning in a scoreless game. 2 runs batted in, a 156 average for Navarro. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yes, that pitch is on the corner, but Jamie Navarro does not get cheated as a hitting pitcher. He swings the bat.
He misses on this swing. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Oh, that was great timing. He missed that ball by 3 feet, and I just said he swings. Well, he did swing the bat, didn't he?
A breaking ball had to break about 2 feet to it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, they're having the bad weather in Denver. That's the type of weather they've been having here. The Chicago area was just horrible last weekend. But the Cubs played through it. To the second baseman, Jody Reed. Navarro lines out. We have 1 down in the third. There's Brian McRae. He bounced out to first baseman Jason Thompson. During the Cubs' first 35 home games, the average starting temperature was 52.7 degrees. The temperature was above 60 degrees only 7 times.
Yeah, that was starting temperature. What was it like midway through the game on that wind switch?
Wait a minute, what was it like a half inning later?
Oh, boy.
McRae hits it foul. 1 strike on Brian McRae. Saw Brian play his first game Major League Baseball against the Chicago White Sox and got a triple for the Kansas City Royals. His father, Hal McRae, was managing the team at the time he came up.
I remember that. I was managing the White Sox when that happened, and our scouting report on Brian was that he didn't have any power.
Good report. 1 ball, no delayed call strike. 0-2 on Brian McRae. Switch hitter batting from the left side. Tim Worrell on the mound for San Diego. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was an outstanding trade that the Cubs made to get Brian McRae, because he is an outstanding defensive player and your prototypical leadoff hitter, and they got both in 1 shot when they made that trade last year for him.
Brian McRae takes a ball. General manager Ed Lynch, Andy McPhail, came over from the Minnesota Twins. 2 world championships in Minnesota. Jody Reed to his left, and he can't make the pickup. Brian McRae is on with 1 out. McRae is on for Brant Brown, and Brant had his first major league hit the first time up. And here's another example, Jeff, for the Padres. They're not making the plays.
No, they're not. When things are going badly for a ball club, everything seems to happen. Jody Reed is a very sure-handed second baseman. He had tied for the best fielding percentage at second base in the National League last year. And on that play, he just didn't keep his head down and missed it.
1-0 on Brant Brown. Let's go back to the first inning. The first major league at bat for Brown. First big league game, first at bat, first hit. Safe at first, Brian McRae. 21 steals in 23 attempts for McRae.
Kind of tough, too. You got a left-handed hitter up. Now, the catcher has trouble seeing the base runner at first base. So if you have a good base runner and a left-handed hitter, it's a tough situation.
In center field, Finley on the run. In front of the Bonds, he makes the play. McRae back to first. And here's Luis Gonzalez coming up. That was a nice swing and a long out for Brant Brown.
You know what's so impressive? In just 2 swings, you realize he doesn't overswing. He just keeps his head down. Watch how easily he swings. He doesn't overswing. He just lays the head of the bat on. The head stayed down. Then he released with his top hand. Got under the ball just a little bit.
He likes the ball down and away, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he stays down on the ball. He takes his head toward the ball right down the bat. This is a good chance in a spot that you might see Brian McRae run here.
1 ball, no strikes on Luis Gonzalez with McRae at first base and 2 out.
Dan Radisson, the first base coach for the Cubs, has got the stopwatch, and he's checking the time with Tim Morrell from the very first move to the catcher, and then he'll have an idea whether Brian can run.
McRae with a huge jump. No chance at all to throw out Brian McRae, who swipes his 22nd base.
Well, you call that, Johnny, an absolute. Fred Ausmus had no chance whatsoever. Brian McRae was running about 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps before the ball was delivered. No chance for the catcher. That is a terrific read by Brian McRae. There he goes. Makes the crossover and heads to second base.
Runner at second and 2 out for Gonzalez. Out of play down the left field line. Swinging on the 2-0 pitch. 2 balls and a strike. Gonzalez has driven in 32 runs for the Cubs, so we're trying to break through against Tim Morrell and the scoreless game in the bottom of the 3rd. The 22 steals lead the National League for Brian McRae. Wide open stance here for Gonzalez. Out of play it goes. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, you can definitely see that this game is not real easy, and it doesn't go according to plan. On that last pitch, Brad Ausmus, the young catcher from Dartmouth, set up outside, and Tim Morrell threw it on the other side of the plate up and in, where they were trying to sink the ball down and away, and that's why this game is a game of.
Well, sometimes baseball has a mind of its own, doesn't it?
Yeah.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Runner at second, 2 out. Slider inside, a full count. If Gonzalez gets on base, Sammy Sosa will have a chance to bat.
Well, there's a situation here that a catcher will always know who's on deck. He knows what the situation is as far as outs are concerned and open bases. But I don't think you want to pitch around Gonzalez to get to Sammy here. You better just make a good pitch if you can.
Morrell will think about it for a moment longer.
So often people will say, well, how do you call a particular game? And before.
How do you call a game with a beach ball?
Oh, yeah.
On warning track.
Which starts to happen when the weather gets warmer. I'll tell you, last week they didn't have beach balls. They might have been throwing out skis or something.
Snowball.
Yeah.
It was so foggy here last weekend.
That's about the size of the ball that I probably could hit after hearing the comment about my home runs.
And the fans in the bleachers, they love it.
Yeah, the guy who had to go out and get that ball didn't love it, though.
No.
He's tired already. But as I was saying, 3-2 count here, and what does a catcher call? He better call a pitcher's best pitch and try to make the hitter hit his best pitch in the spot that he wants.
The red dot indicates Brian McRae at second base. That's a walk. Gonzalez is on, and Sosa bats with McRae at second and Gonzalez at first. First walk allowed by Tim Morrell.
There's Bruce Bochy just watching and thinking, oh boy, here we come, we're in trouble again. But I thought the pitch was an outstanding. I think it missed, but I thought it was an outstanding pitch. I thought it was a good call. It went down and away, and he just missed. I thought it was an excellent call by the umpire, good call by the young catcher, but it just missed. That's the kind of pitch you want to make there.
At the corner, but was below the knees, and a walk to Gonzalez. Here's Sosa. He reached on an infield hit in the first inning. Broken bat pop up on the right side. That's Thompson making the catch, and the Cubs strand 2 runners. We played 3 complete at Wrigley Field. No score between the Cubs and the Padres on Fox.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, right.
Look, if you want to regrow some hair, check this out.
Rogaine? Don't you need a prescription?
Not anymore.
How's it work? Rogaine goes to the root of your hair, and for some people, gets it to grow.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing, I guess. Except more hair.
That's been easy to use.
And it's starting to work.
See, there's room for growth in every relationship.
Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
Hey, Bullseye!
It's finally here. What everyone's been waiting for. The premier event of the summer.
You'll be channel surfing in no time.
You'll laugh.
I'm just jerking your chin.
You'll cry.
Oh, Billy!
You'll guzzle. The buy 3, get 1 free super big gulp offer. Featuring special cable guy cups. Now appearing at a 7-Eleven near you.
Rebel, express yourself. Take your creativity to a whole new level.
Express yourself with EOS lenses and the Rebel X from Canon.
I don't know, but it's been said athlete's foot's as good as dead. Mighty Mike.
No cooling action.
Mighty Mike. Axe on contact, this I know, cause that tingle tells me so. Mighty Mike. New Mighty Mike. Stops the itch and cools the burn. Penetrates to kill the germ. Athlete's foot, don't let it win. Stamp it out with Mica 10.
Cops know catching bad guys is tough. Tonight, see the ones that almost got away.
No!
A full hour of Cops. Tonight at 8, 7 Central.
We're in the 4th inning. The Padres and the Cubs have no score, and the Cubs about hit the Pods today 3-1. Tony Gwynn leads off. 1-0 on the 6-time batting champion in the National League. Tony bounced out to second base in a 1-2-3 first inning, all on groundouts for Jamie Navarro. 2 balls and no strikes on Tony Gwynn.
You know what amazes me about Tony Gwynn is he's a great hitter. Of course, he hit over 350 3 consecutive years. That hasn't been done since the 30s.
On the check swing. He did not go. Larry Poncino indicates no swing, and Tony Gwynn is in front, 3 balls, no strikes.
Well, Tony's a big guy, but he uses maybe the smallest bat in the major leagues. He uses a 32-inch bat.
3 balls and a strike. He also uses 2 VCRs that he takes with him everywhere to record the game and then edit each swing to the other VCR and study the swing time after time. Out of play down the left field line, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, it just doesn't happen by accident that he's that great a hitter. You can see what he does. He's almost like a calculator when he goes up there to hit. He knows what he wants to do, and by using the smaller bat, standing close to the plate with a little spread out stance, he doesn't commit very quickly. The bad foot he had, the right foot, was causing him a little problem originally.
In left field. Gonzalez puts it away. In between innings, a little discussion about the huge break that Brian McRae got as we have Dan Warthen, the pitching coach of the San Diego Padres, Mike today, and he was talking with Tim Morrell about checking the runner at first base a little bit closer.
Yeah, basically.
You know he's going to run. Yeah, I went out of the stretch on the one time, but you know McRae's going to run. You got to vary your times on that. Excuse me. Right. He just took off, yeah.
This is a foul ball by Ken Caminiti.
I'm sorry, John, I almost stepped on what was being said, but Dan Warthen was saying that he had to vary his times, and that's what a pitcher has to do. Can't let him time him, so he's got to step off or he's got to hold the ball longer.
Caminiti struck out in the 2nd inning. 0-2 as Jamie Navarro has worked ahead of most of the hitters through 3 1/3 innings so far. Caminiti under 300 at 297. One ball and 2 strikes on the 3rd baseman for the San Diego Padres. No score. Gwynn flied to left field to begin the inning. That's a strike, and Caminiti is out. A strikeout is the 4th for Jamie Navarro. Navarro's been living on the outside part of the plate today.
Yeah, he's got good action out there. Scott Service got way out, hit his target, and got the call 3rd strike.
Now 2 outs in the 4th inning. You're looking at Jason Thompson. He grounded out to second baseman Ryan Sandberg in the 2nd. Good fastball. Good lively pitch by Navarro.
John, the first time I saw this name, it reminded me of the all-star that first baseman, left-handed hitting first base in Detroit used to have back in the late 70s and early 80s.
Broken bat, looper, center field. Hernandez goes out and makes a fine play. Jose Hernandez with the catch. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Dave Maggott and Ryan Sandberg and Scott Service are coming up for the Cubs in a scoreless game.
If you're considering Zantac 75 for heartburn, consider this first, Pepcid AC. Both Pepcid AC and Zantac 75 can be taken after dinner to relieve heartburn. And 12 hours later, both are still controlling acid, so you can sleep. But read the labels. Here's the difference. You can take Pepcid AC to stop heartburn before it starts. Zantac 75 can't claim that. Before or after, you can be heartburn-free with Pepcid AC.
Cable Guy!
It's finally here. What everyone's been waiting for. The premier event of the summer.
You'll be channel surfing in no time.
You'll laugh.
I'm just jerking your chin.
You'll cry.
Oh, Billy!
You'll guzzle. The buy 3, get 1 free super big golf offer. Featuring special Cable Guy cups. Now appearing at a 7-Eleven near you.
Hey, there's only one full-size pickup that's best in initial quality. Chevy CK. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to be cool. Hang out with other guys who are cool. But even cool guys sweat. 40% more than women, in fact. So how you gonna stay cool? With something new, Speed Stick Gel, proven to keep you drier than any other gel. So you feel your coolest. It's the best gel protection. And guys, no matter how cool they are, need all the protection they can get. New Speed Stick Gel. It's just for the guys.
Looking for adventure?
You break into zoos to do your hunting? This is senseless murder!
No, I use everything I have!
Then tune into Mad TV, late night tonight.
No score, bottom of the 4th inning. And, Jeff, there's been so much talk about people being angry about the 1994 strike, and for good reason, and many blaming small crowds. They've had small crowds on the south side for the White Sox, even though they haven't played that many home games. And the weather, I think, has been the biggest problem. And here we have a beautiful day in a packed house.
Yeah, I think it's the weather, and it's also in a lot of these cities when school's not out.
Dave Maggott takes strike 1. Tim Worrell has thrown 51 pitches, 34 for strikes now. Where Navarro has thrown 51 pitches, 33 for strikes. Into short left field. Ricky Henderson. 1 out. Maggott flies out, and Ryan Sandberg is coming to bat. Sandberg got a base hit and was caught stealing in the 2nd inning. Earlier this week marked the 2nd anniversary of Sandberg's announced retirement. I mentioned a while ago when he made the out that a pair of 23s left their sports and came back. Here's 1 strike on Ryan Sandberg. Sandberg is back with the Cubs, and Michael Jordan went to play baseball for the Chicago White Sox organization and came back, and he found it very difficult to get his legs in game shape when he came back last year to the NBA. 1 ball and 1 strike on Sandberg. A little different training and conditioning from baseball to basketball.
It is. You're playing every day, and you're on different type of surfaces, and it really is a whole different way of getting ready.
Strike call to Sandberg. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The plate's a little bit wider today, but it has been that way both ways.
Very consistent, yes.
1 out, nobody on base. Break to third. Caminetti on the grass. He has him. Sandberg is out with 2 down. Scott Service is coming up for the Cubs as Tim Worrell is moving merrily along. And he got Sandberg reaching this time, Jeff.
Yeah, he reached out and rolled over, and then the ball went to Caminiti. But boy, when Caminiti winds up and throws the ball, that first baseman better have a sponge in his glove. He's got a rocket arm.
The throw sailed a little bit. Nice job over at first base by Jason Thompson. One ball, no strikes on Scott's service. He flied to center field in the second inning. Fans wonder why you need a tall first baseman, a big guy over at first base. There's a good example on that throw from Caminiti. A strike on Scott's service. One ball, one strike.
Well, both these pitchers are working very well on the outer half of the plate. They have stayed out there so much of the game, but when they needed a big out, they've come inside. For an example, when they got Sammy Sosa with 2 runners on, they jammed him. Now Worrell is working the outer half so well now.
On the right side in foul territory. And that's going to be a souvenir. You count 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's amazing what fans will do to get a ball. Boy, I'll tell you, they'll drop their beer, they'll break a leg, but they've got the ball.
And he was on TV. And he's on TV again.
And after a couple high fives, he's got to have elbow surgery.
But he got the ball.
They got the ball.
Scott Service back in the box with a 1-2 count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ricky Henderson is playing a very deep left field. See Ricky out there toward the vines.
There's Ricky, who had played his entire career in the American League, after learning all new ballparks, not to mention all new pitching.
Paulie Joyner is to do the same thing. Caminiti with the backhanded third. Another strong throw, and 1-2-3 go the Cubs in the 4th. We played 4 complete now at Wrigley Field. We still have a scoreless game.
This is about how your business can build new profit centers without bulldozing your budget. About looking bigger than you are. This is about call centers, people, and technology that can capture new customers, answer questions, and process orders 24 hours a day. And it's not just for the rich, the powerful, or the daring. Because there's a way you can get the help, hardware, software, and advanced toll-free service to create your call center. All you have to know is how. Network MCI, that's how.
Oh, Bill, did I tell you what Patty said that Rachel heard about what Mark said about Patty? Well, Bill, are you listening? Anyway, Patty ran into Rachel, who had run into Mark at a party. So, according to Bill, are you listening to me or to the game?
5 ticks left on the clock. Missiles down by 1. Just a reminder, this game brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. Smith inbounds to Wakeman through the paint. Tomahawk jam. Yes!
Work boots. Tough on the outside, tough on your feet inside. Not enough cushioning. Dr. Scholl's Maximum Comfort work insoles give you 100% more cushioning. They make work easier on your feet.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Good crunch. Bad aim.
Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
You can just pick up a Napa part and feel the quality. When you look at the price, it feels even better.
Pick up your share of quality products at Napa's Red, White, and Blue sale. With Napa Motor Oil, only 89 cents a quart. Contoured-style bug shields for a low $29.99. And a combo pack of no-touch tire and wheel cleaners, just $2.99 after rebate. So come, save some green at Napa's Red, White, and Blue sale.
America running.
It's NFL-style action with American players. Catch the championship of the World League from Europe. World Bowl 96, Sunday, June 23rd on Fox.
We've reached the top of the 5th inning at Wrigley Field in Chicago. A 0-0 game. Only 4 hits with 3 belonging to the home team Cubs. Brad Ausmus has the only hit for the San Diego Padres about this inning. Jody Reed leads off. First baseman Brant Brown. He has the glasses down and makes the catch. Coming off the field, some more talk with Dan Warthen and Tim Worrell. This time about the breaking ball for Worrell.
A couple of those sliders looked like they were really wrapped. I mean, mechanically, you look the same on a couple of them, but just almost like a curveball. Instead of staying in back of it and just letting it happen.
Bunt attempt and a foul by Luis Lopez. So that's just some of what goes on in the dugout between innings as a pitcher comes off or with a hitting coach and a batter. He's always talking and teaching. It seems like more so now than ever before in baseball.
Well, there has to be, John. The guys are getting here earlier, and they don't spend as much time in the minor leagues. And there's a shot of Fergie Jenkins, who does the same thing with the Cub pitchers. Of course, a great Hall of Famer.
1 ball, 1 strike to count on Luis Lopez.
And what Dan Worthen was really saying, on a slider, you reach out in front of the ball and turn it a little bit. You don't wrap it. You could see Dan Worthen's hand as he was explaining. You don't wrap the curveball.
Right center field, Sammy Sosa. 2 outs. At the end of our telecast, Jeff Torborg and I will be selecting a genuine Chevrolet player of the game. The batter now is Brad Ausmus. Ausmus got a base hit, an infield hit in the 3rd, the only safety today for the San Diego Padres. Broken bat again, and a roller to Ryne Sandberg. There's some lost lumber in this game. Ausmus is out 4-3. That's 7 in a row, retired by Jamie Navarro. No score as we go to the bottom of the 5th in Chicago.
You were chicken as a little kid. You were chicken as a bigger little kid. And now that you're grown up, you've got one last chance to do something really, truly daring. Chicken pizza? Sure, we know it sounds scary. But come on, you can do it.
Great.
Sure it is. With 100% chicken breast and 100% Pizza Hut pizza, it's delicious. You'll never be chicken again.
Hi, what's your name?
We stand corrected.
Game 22-10 about to start, and everyone's still wondering, where is Cal Ripken Jr.? Could this be the end of the streak? What could possibly keep him from taking the field?
Introducing the Major League Baseball Collector Series phone card from 7-Eleven and Classic.
Okay, kids. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a beast.
A collection of 15-minute prepaid 7-Eleven phone cards that can save you up to 50% on long-distance calls, so you can really talk up a streak.
How long will they hold this game?
More than Ford owners love their Tauruses. More than Nissan owners love their Maximas. More than anyone else in the class loves their cars. That's how much Dodge owners love their Intrepids. Dodge Intrepid, #1 in Strategic Vision's 1996 Total Quality Index in class. Intrepid. This changes everything.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead. By 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. By Pizza Hut, home of the new chicken-topped pizzas. And by Fruit of the Loom, maker of really, really comfortable clothes.
Well, the tanning season is underway in Chicago, and it took a long time in getting here, but a warm, sunny Saturday afternoon. Our Fox Saturday afternoon game of the week has the Padres and the Cubs in a 0-0 game. Tim Morrell has just come out to take his warm-up tosses. This is the way it's supposed to be for baseball, Jeff. Beautiful weather, and we have a great game going here, and the fans outside enjoying themselves.
This is great, John. You know, when I first came in here as a Dodger in 1964, they didn't even open the upper deck here. That's how small the crowds were, and it's a happening here at Wrigley now.
Thank you very much. And it's great to be outside and enjoy Saturday afternoon baseball. And those are the comments that I'm getting from folks around the country, Jeff, to have the network and a Saturday afternoon game back on the air, and I think it's going to do nothing but help the game.
Well, I agree with it. We all grew up with that. It's wonderful, and I think what miking these people to hear what's going on in the dugout and hearing the umpires' calls, the sounds of the game are so much a part of it.
It's the Cubs' turn in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jose Hernandez steps in against Worrell. 1-0 on Hernandez, who flied to center field in the 2nd inning. He wears the sunglasses to the plate. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Did you ever wear the shades to the plate, Jeff?
No, I needed glasses in part of my career, especially the way I was hitting. They thought I needed them earlier in my career, but I could never wear sunglasses.
Big breaking ball outside, 2 balls and a strike.
You know,
that's a new look, though, in the last 3 or 4 years.
I know how they get away with it. A lot of guys will go up there and wear those multi-turf shoes. I never could do that either.
In the dirt. Osmus can't handle it. 3 balls, 1 strike on Hernandez with the pitcher Navarro waiting to bat.
These new glasses are wraparound jobs, and they take the glare away, but I would have felt encumbered by that.
I find it interesting when outfielders go out to the field with the glasses on their hats. Ball 4. A walk ahead of the pitcher batting. Those fans expecting the Colorado Rockies and the Philadelphia Phillies, well, it's still raining at Coors Field in Denver. The Phillies and the Rockies, if they can get that game underway, will get you to that as quickly as possible. In the meantime, we have a bright sunny day on the north side of Chicago. The Cubs and the Padres 0-0, and the red dot at first base indicates Jose Hernandez is the base runner. The Padres play for the bunt with Navarro batting. Navarro did not drop the bat. He did not indicate he was going to bunt.
Well, Ken Caminiti is only about 60 feet away from him. He's hoping that he bunts. He's right on top of him at third base.
Foul ball all the way back to the screen. That was a pitch breaking away, high and away from Navarro. The walk to Hernandez, only the second allowed by Tim Worrell. And there's Caminiti moving back, but he'll be coming on again shortly.
Well, the best way to defend against the bunt like this is to run right down their throats, but it takes a lot of guts from the infielder to do so. But Jason Thompson was right down there in a hurry also, so Caminiti will be right on top of Jamie Navarro when he goes to bunt the ball.
Foul ball back to the screen, and the count 2 strikes on Jamie Navarro. Will he be bunting on 2 strikes like Worrell was earlier and struck out?
I don't know. That's a feeling. You're seeing Tony Muser at third base giving the signs now. That's just a gut reaction from the manager. If he thinks that Jamie Navarro can put the ball in play, he might let him hit, but he looks so bad on a couple of the breaking balls, he might have him bunt again.
Caminiti is expecting the bunt. Navarro drops it to him. Caminiti will throw to first base. Reed covers. The sacrifice, 1 out. In their world, every second counts, and every move could be their last. See why the critics are calling L.A. firefighters exciting. Watch a special effects with all the spectacular special effects on a brand new L.A. Firefighters Monday, 9/8 Central, right here on Fox. Right now, the Chicago Cubs would like a little fireworks. They have the top of their order with Brian McRae up. Man at second base, Jose Hernandez, after a successful sacrifice by Navarro. 1 ball, no strikes on McRae, who's been on an error, and he has swiped a base, his 22nd of the year, leading the National League. Cubs are trying to break through here. McRae has driven in 22 runs. In center field, Steve Finley. He has the play. Hernandez tags. And he's going to make it. Lopez cut it off. I'll tell you what, nice job by Tim Worrell doing his job, getting back there and back at third base.
There's not a lot of room back there, and it's a good thing he was there. That ball took off, and if he had not been back there, that had gone into the dugout, and that would, or into the seats, in fact, and that would have been a run. Here's Finley settling under the ball, and he's getting ready to throw it, and he's trying to get Hernandez at third base, but this ball takes off and goes right over. Oh, now there's the relay, and there's the throw, and the throw just takes off. Fortunately, he's backing the play up.
By the time Lopez cut the ball, made the catch at shortstop, he had no play at third. That's a foul ball. Brant Brown, 1 for 2. Looking for his first big league RBI. Brown just up from the Iowa Cubs, where he hit .316, 8 homers, 29 RBIs. He had 22 doubles. He has that doubles kind of swing. Line drive hitter. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
A little telltale sign when looking at a hitter, trying to figure out what kind of hitter they are. Watch how they hold the bat. If somebody holds the bat a little flatter, like he does up over his shoulder, watch how he flattens it out. More of a line drive hitter like that.
That's foul on the right side, and the count 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And that would be in contrast to a hitter, say, who held the bat more vertical. They get under the ball a little bit. But a guy who flattens the bat out a little bit, tries to come right down with his head down the barrel of the bat, tries to hit line drives.
Saw Mo Vaughn earlier this week, and the Red Sox first baseman, boy, does he have an uppercut swing. He launches the ball. In contrast to Brown.
Yep, here he flattens it out. See how he flattens it out before the pitcher gets ready to go.
Now Osmus is going to go out and have a word with Tim Worrell. Worrell is elected to work from the stretch position. Jose Hernandez at third base and 2 men out.
Well, you know, one of the things that can be a difficult thing for a ball club is to have a new player come and you don't have a scouting report of how to pitch him. You quick start to call around your organization. Say, anybody have a report on the Iowa club, for an example, because Brant Brown is here now. And sometimes you do some scuffling and can't find people in a hurry to tell you how to pitch him.
Outside an eye. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Brown. Not anymore. There's so many reports available, especially out of AAA.
Yeah, and of course you have them on computers too, but sometimes you don't have an accurate, good scouting report that you believe in.
There's nothing like seeing him in person. Brown is out on strikes, and he leaves Jose Hernandez at third base. The strikeout is the second today for Tim Worrell. We're going to the 6th. Still no score.
Dodge Ram has won a lot of awards from a lot of experts, from a lot of magazines. But according to a survey of new vehicle owners by Strategic Vision, Ram is also winner of the Total Quality Award for Best Owner Experience in its class for the 2nd year in a row. An award from the most important truck experts of all, the people who make the payments. Dodge Ram. The rules have changed.
Rebel, express yourself. Take your creativity to a whole new level.
Express yourself.
With EOS lenses and the Rebel X from Canon.
It's mine. It's all mine.
They have now entered
What? This is impossible.
Entering Yamato.
How can they do this?
Stop.
Stop.
Every day, MasterCard opens over 3,000 new acceptance locations worldwide.
Oh, at least we still have Cochabamba.
No! MasterCard. It's smart money. When sports cream, when legs are sore, when backs ache, when muscles hurt. Wise Sports Cream, rubbing it in brings fast pain relief. No medicine-y smell. Wise Sports Cream, because it works.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy. Don't you think?
Original and cooling blue.
By Menon. Sunday. Woohoo! Homer celebrates Father's Day in a big way.
I don't want to look like a weirdo. I'll just go with a moo-moo.
On The Simpsons, Sunday at 8, 7 Central.
Hello from Wrigley Field in Chicago. A 0-0 game between the Cubs and the San Diego Padres today. With Jeff Torborg, I'm John Rooney, and we've had 2 really good pitchers games in our first 2 games over in the American League. Indians in Milwaukee, and then last week the White Sox and the Orioles. And today, Worrell has done a brilliant job right along with Jamie Navarro. How about this pitchers matchup today? We get all the low-scoring games in the year of all the hitting, Jeff.
I know. We've had 2 2-1 games already, and very well-pitched games from 2 great big guys that throw pretty good.
And a high heat for Worrell. It counted 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nine 1-2 in the order for San Diego, trying to break an 8-game losing streak. He's out of there. Let's go to Hollywood for an update from Chip Caray.
Thanks a lot. Okay, guys, thanks a lot. A lot of offense early going Fenway Park in Boston. The Texas Rangers have jumped out 5-0 in the top of the first after an RBI single by Juan Gonzalez. Mickey Tuttleton blasts a 3-run homer to right. Then Warren Newsom, one of Jeff's former players, hit a back-to-back homer. 5-0 over Wakefield as they play in the second at Fenway.
Okay, Chip, and that Texas team can put some power and some runs up quickly. Here, Ricky Henderson takes strike one. A strikeout, the 5th in the game for Jamie Navarro. Got Tim Morrell starting the 6th. We have a 0-0 game here. Hard slider away this time. 1 ball and 1 strike.
John, I'm watching Ricky, and I just don't quite understand why he's hitting where he is. It's just not familiarity. Last year he hit 300 for Oakland. 9 home runs, 54 RBI. Just not swinging the bat the same.
That's backhanded by Scott Service.
You know, hitting is so much comfort. Feeling confident in what you're doing. Feeling confident in your surroundings. He just doesn't look like the same aggressive hitter that he was in the other league.
In center field, Brian McRae coming on with Sandberg going out, and Sandberg can't make the play. Ricky Henderson is on with 1 out in the 6th inning, and Steve Finley coming up. So the Padres get their 2nd hit. 8 in a row had been retired by Navarro.
Well, this shot was such a jam shot, and it was just a little bit out of Ryne Sandberg's reach, and the only 2 hits that the Padres have are just little dump shots. One in the infield by Osmus, and that one by Ricky.
There's Ricky Henderson. He's a threat to go. 17 steals. He's the runner for Steve Finley. 258 average, 9 homers, and 33 driven in. Hitless in 2 trips so far today. One and nothing on Steve Finley.
Yeah, I just saw Jamie Navarro do something I watched Don Drysdale, the great Hall of Famer, do a long time ago, and that's instead of lifting his leg up high, his front leg, he bent down with his back leg when he had a good runner on. Instead of lifting high, which it takes more time to do, he just kind of bent his knees and came to the plate quicker. This is delivery.
The count at 2 balls and no strikes.
They say that I haven't seen a lot of guys teach that. They'll teach the slide step, which you see a lot of. That's where they don't lift their front leg and just slide to the plate. But Drysdale always said if you just bent your back leg, that meant you were quicker to the plate. You didn't have to lift your leg up, but you still had your weight back.
And here's Navarro studying signs while Henderson is studying the Cub right-hander. In right field, hit well. Sammy Sosa at the wall. And it's gone. A home run for Steve Finley. And the San Diego Padres go up 2-0 with 1 out in the 6th.
Well, John, you don't know if the reason was that Ricky Henderson had divided his attention a little bit. It happens a lot of times where you're worrying about a base runner, and you can see Jamie Navarro right now not happy with it. But after a play like that, sometimes it divides your attention. You worry about the base runner. Here's the pitch, and the pitch is up in the strike zone. That's the kind of pitch up out over the plate that a hitter can drive a long way. And Steve Finley got hold of it. And there's Navarro's reaction. Of course, that's frustration. He's hoping that ball was more on a line and didn't get over that basket out there.
They got into the seats, and a home run for Finley, his 10th for the Padres in 1996. After retiring 8 in a row, Ricky Henderson got a bloop single in the center field, and then Finley went yard. 2-0 in favor of the Padres, and the hits are even at 3. Tony Gwynn is 0 for 2 today. He hit a breaking ball to first baseman Brant Brown. 2 out. Gwynn is 0 for 3 now. 2 ground outs and a fly out.
Dugout now, you're seeing that's Chris Gwynn in the foreground here. In the background is Steve Finley talking about what he hit. That's one of the few balls that have been hit real hard in this game against Jamie Navarro. That's how good his stuff has been.
Caminetti hasn't been able to put the ball in play today. 2 strikeouts. 5 strikeouts overall for Navarro. Big home run type swing for Caminetti. 0-1.
You know, some pitchers, and you don't think about it this way, the idea of a right-handed pitcher should be more effective against right-hand hitters, but if a right-hander has a good sinker, he can make a left-hander look bad.
0-2 the count on King Caminetti. He's in danger of the hat trick here.
And that is that fork ball. You add a good hard sinker and then a fork ball where the bottom falls out of it, and most hitters don't want to get 2 strikes on him against a guy with a fork ball.
Upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Caminetti. Cubs have won 6 of their last 7 games. And the other bench, on the other side of the field in the dugout, the Padres are trying to break out an 8-game losing streak. He's 0-2, now 2 balls and 2 strikes on Caminiti.
Well, it's an interesting sequence. They got 2 strikes on him. They got ahead of him. Then they tried to run a fastball up in the strike zone, see if he chased a bad ball. And then they tried to run a sinker away, and they missed way away. Let's see what happens now.
3 balls, 2 strikes.
And they missed with a forkball. And that's when you start to worry a little bit. You say, okay, you got a couple pitches to play with. When you get to the 2-2 count, you got to be careful. But you got to remember, too, that Caminiti is one of those guys that can drive a ball out of the ballpark. And so you've got to be careful and stay away from his power.
That's foul down the right field line.
You know, you often think, as a matter, I was looking at Jim Riggleman's face in the dugout, and as you see Caminiti thinking about what he's going to get here in this count. Well, looking at Jim Riggleman makes you think sometimes, do you really want to run against a club that's struggling? Lost 8 in a row, you figure the percentages might be against you, or would you rather go with a club that's hot and you'd like to stop them? All those thoughts go through that manager's mind.
Ball 4, and Caminiti is a base runner. This is only the 2nd inning, Jeff. The Padres have had more than 1 base runner. They didn't have any base runners the 1st, the 2nd, the 4th, and the 5th.
So that meant that Jamie Navarro had not been throwing out of the stretch position very much, and that can affect the pitcher. If he's been so effective that he hasn't had base runners, now when he gets a base runner, he might not feel so comfortable.
And the base runner happened to be Ricky Henderson. This time Caminiti on base. 1 ball and no strikes on Jason Thompson, who was grounded out and popped out to the shortstop.
Now, we were talking about Jason Thompson before. I was wondering, I didn't think Jason was old enough to have a son that would be this size. Interesting. Same name, left-handed hitting, first baseman, big guy.
No relation.
No, this kid would love to be as good a hitter as the first one was.
Jammed him in a foul ball back. A ball and a strike on the Padre first baseman with Caminiti at first. 2 runs in for the San Diego Padres, with Ricky Henderson reaching on a 1-out single and Steve Finley going deep over the basket in right field for his 10th home run.
This Jason Thompson is out of the University of Arizona, Laguna Hills, California.
A ball, 2 balls and a strike.
Bruce Bochy leaning there on his knees saying, gee, I hope this stuff ends in a hurry. This 2-run lead looks good, but let's get some more.
Padres are trying to with Caminiti safely at first. Now the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Navarro still has good pop, good life to his fastball.
It really does, John. You can also see the contrast in the 2 first basemen. Jason Thompson has a much bigger swing. He struck out 131 times last year in the minor leagues, where Brant Brown is more of a line drive hitter.
Brant Brown is holding at first base against Ken Caminiti. The runner goes. A ball and the throw. Out at second base, Caminiti got stealing for the 2nd time. So Jason Thompson will be leading off for the Padres when they bat in the 7th inning. 2 runs in on a homer by Steve Finley. The Padres have broken through at Wrigley Field and lead the Cubs 2-0.
Reminds me of a stomach churning with acid. Heartburn. This little pill can change all that. Zantac 75 helps prevent acid production for up to 12 hours. The medicine in Zantac 75 is so trusted that over the last 5 years, it's been the most prescribed medicine of its kind. Maybe the tide is finally turning.
Zantac 75, the final word in acid relief.
Harry, here's the ball boy. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. He struck him out. Oh, for the long one here. Then Boston Station identification.
10 seconds, Harry.
Holy cow, I need another Big Bite pronto.
The 7-Eleven all-beef quarter-pound Big Bite hot dog, now just 99 cents. Boy, is that a mouthful.
Holy cow, we're back.
I can't believe I'm losing my hair back here.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, right.
Look, if you want to regrow some hair, check this out.
Rogaine? Don't you need a prescription?
Not anymore.
How's it work? Rogaine goes to the root of your hair, and for some people, gets it to grow.
What have you got to lose?
Nothing, I guess. Except more hair.
That's been easy to use.
and it's starting to work.
See, there's room for growth in every relationship.
Rogaine, medically proven to regrow hair.
You're watching a dejected Jamie Navarro who gave up a 2-run homer, a single, and then the 2-run blast to Steve Finley. For a 2-0 lead now for the San Diego Padres, and to that point, only one other inning had there been 2 base runners on for San Diego. Today's Minute Trivia question is, who is the only player to accumulate 1,000 hits and 100-plus home runs for each of the 2 teams, one in the American League and one in the National League? We'll have the answer coming up. The only player to accumulate 1,000-plus hits and 100-plus home runs. In center field, this is Finley. And Finley retires Luis Gonzalez. We're underway in the bottom of the 6th. You know the answer to that, don't you, Jack? We'll give that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sammy Sosa has a hit and a pop-up. Right now, the Cubs are trying to pick up Jamie Navarro, while Tim Morrell is doing a masterful job in his 2nd start. Picking up for Andy Ashby, who went on the disabled list earlier this week. In right field, this is Gwynn going back. He has room. Makes the catch on the warning track. A long lot out for Sammy Sosa, and there are 2 gone in the 6th inning.
You know, John, when you see certain pitches to certain hitters, and when they go off the bat, you say, uh-oh, this thing might go. And with Sammy, he is so strong, and that ball is too much more of the part of the plate, of the big part of the plate. And here's the ball driving to right field, and Tony gets back. And Tony's familiar with this field, gets back, and on the warning track takes that long fly ball.
Indentation down each line. Tony had plenty of room to make the catch on Sammy Sosa's long fly. Dave Magadan is the batter. 1 strike on Magadan. He has been called out on strikes today and flied to left field.
You know, John, this field, this ballpark can play so differently on a given day. If the wind is dull, like there's not much wind today, it's a small ballpark.
Way high and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Light breeze blowing in off the lake today, though, blowing in from center field.
And that's the point. It's a light breeze. If you got a steady breeze off the lake, it really is a big ballpark. Then it's tough to get the ball out, but it's just a nice, easy breeze.
That's a ball. 2 balls and a strike on Magadan.
Don Zimmer used to come to this ballpark when he was managing, check the wind first to see what kind of game plan he was going to use in a particular day. Play the inside games, the wind's blowing in.
In left field, Ricky Henderson. He makes the play, and 3 up, 3 down. Go the Cubs in the 6th. And that's 6 in a row retired by Tim Morrell. We'll be back to Wrigley Field after these messages from your local station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball.
If man were meant to fly, he would have been born with a 32-valve, 280-horsepower Lincoln Mark 8. His other alternative is leasing one, Lincoln Mark 8, just $449 a month.
A family I don't even know saved my life. Their son died in a crash. Before the accident, he told his family he wanted to be an organ and tissue donor. I got his heart. I thank that family every day that I can be with mine.
Make the decision to become an organ and tissue donor. Be sure that your family knows your wishes. And remember, share your life, share your decision.
For a free brochure, call 1-888-55-SHARE.
This is a DHL jumbo box. If you want to send an international shipment of up to 55 pounds for a low flat rate, all you have to do is put it in this box and phone DHL. We'll pick it up and deliver it fast, door to door, from the U.S. to virtually anywhere else in the world. The DHL Jumbo Box, the easy way to ship large packages overseas.
Chicago Business Report, weekday mornings at 6:30 on Fox News.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field, north side of Chicago, where the Padres are leading the Cubs 2-0. The Padres turn in the top of the 7th inning with Jason Thompson batting. The count on Thompson at 1 ball and 1 strike. He was batting when Ken Caminiti was caught stealing, ending the 6th. So here's Thompson 0 for 2 on the day. Jody Reed will follow, and Luis Lopez bats 3rd. Good sinking fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now, we've talked so many times about how much bigger the players are getting. Look at the size of this Jason Thompson. You get a close-up of his arms. He's really a big guy.
Right back through the middle. But there's shortstop Jose Hernandez. 1 out in the 7th inning. Let's go back to Chip Caray in Hollywood for an update.
Hey, John, as you know, the Red Sox have won their last 4 games, but they trailed 5-0 after 1 until Mike Stanley takes this Kevin Gross delivery over the green monster in left. It's his 9th home run of the year. In the bottom of the 2nd now, it's the Rangers 5, the Red Sox 1 at Fenway. Back to you all at Wrigley.
Well, there's a start for the Red Sox, and Stanley won a game on the south side of Chicago Wednesday in extra innings with a sacrifice fly for the Red Sox. Here's a former Red Sox player, Jody Reed, standing in. He's 0 for 2. 1 ball and no strikes. Reed went over to the Dodgers, but couldn't get together on a contract. Moved on to Milwaukee and then the San Diego Padres. Down the right field line and foul.
John, Jody Reed was really a good hitter with the Red Sox. He pulled the ball down that left field line or hit off the green monster. 3 successive years there, he had 42, 45, and 42 doubles. He was really a tough out. Of course, went to the Dodgers. Has always been a good defender.
To the third baseman, Dave Magadan has time. And they're 2 down. Today's Men in Trivia question: who is the only player to accumulate 1,000+ hits and 100+ home runs for each of 2 teams, one in the American League, one in the National League? It's our colleague, Dave Winfield. He had 1,134 hits and 154 home runs while with the Padres. And then with the Yankees, 1,300 hits and 205 home runs. Dave, Steve Lyons, Chip Caray on the pregame activities on Fox. Fly ball off the bat of Luis Lopez. And caught by Brian McTrey. Nicely done by the Cubs center fielder. 1, 2, 3 in the 7th inning for the San Diego Padres. We're at the 7th inning stretch at Wrigley Field. Padres 2, Cubs nothing.
You know, I think we should have a talk.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a little shot up.
Nothing brings people together like Pizza Hut pizza.
I'm glad we had that talk.
Yeah, still more often.
Hey, Bullseye!
It's finally here. What everyone's been waiting for. The premier event of the summer.
You'll be channel surfing in no time.
You'll laugh.
I'm just jerking your chin.
You'll cry.
Oh, Billy!
You'll guzzle. The buy 3, get 1 free super big gulp offer. Featuring special cable guy cups. Now appearing at a 7-Eleven near you.
How's your job?
Great. There's still a lot of stress, though.
You still getting those headaches?
Yeah. I actually went to the doctor. I thought they might be migraines. He said they weren't. He told me to take Tylenol, extra strength.
Tylenol? Not some prescription?
The Tylenol works great, Dad.
More than aspirin, more than ibuprofen. For headaches, doctors recommend Tylenol the most.
You should have come to work for me, Julie.
Oh, sure. No stress there.
Recently, Car and Driver magazine rated Dodge Intrepid over the new Ford Taurus. They described Intrepid as poised, agile, and athletic. They said it was born to run. They went on about its vast interior, calling Intrepid outstanding, and concluded it's a lot of car for the money. Car and Driver just can't say enough about Intrepid, but we like it when they try. Intrepid, this changes everything.
Well, they're hoping that Mark Grace gets better soon. He was placed on the disabled list, retroactive to Tuesday, so he's going to be out for at least 10 more days, unavailable. Brant Brown was called up, got a hit in his first big league at bat. However, the Cubs are trailing the Padres 2-0 going to the bottom of the 7th inning. Ryan Sandberg is going to step in for the Cubs. He has 1 hit, 2 at-bats. The Cubs for the day have just 3 hits. Sandberg's base hit to center field, the last safety. Jeff Torborg, Tim Worrell has been very sharp today.
Boy, he's really stepped up and done a good job for this club. You know, that's what they needed the most. You know, you've lost 8 in a row, and one of your aces is out, and Tim Worrell has really done an excellent job for them.
Sandberg was full with a breaking ball.
You know what he's done, Johnny? He stayed away from the middle of the plate mostly. He's made some mistakes with some pitches. But when he missed with them, they were not in the middle of the plate where somebody could crank on one of them. They might be a little too high or a little too low.
Well, hear time after time about how pitchers have to work inside. It's one thing to work inside, but work inside and get some strikes. Or just work the inner half of the plate a little bit better. In center field, Steve Finley is calling for it. Sandberg is out. We have 1 out in the 7th inning for the Chicago Cubs. This game summary is brought to you by 7-Eleven. Worrell through 6 1/3 innings. No runs and only 3 hits, as we mentioned. And Finley hit a 2-run homer of Jamie Navarro. There's ball 1 to Scott Service, the catcher for the Chicago Cubs. And I have to think that the inning turned around when Ricky Henderson got the base hit and divided Navarro's attention. Big swing by Service. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I think it really did. We even were talking with Jamie about it yesterday, what he would do if he was worrying about the runner. He said, well, I make sure I have to keep him close. But again, we talked about it. He had not been in the stretch very much. And all of a sudden, he made a mistake with a pitch. Out it went.
Service takes a ball and gets ahead in the count now. 2 balls and a strike.
People don't realize what speed does for a baseball team. It does a lot of things defensively, covering areas, but it also threatens the opposition if you're capable of stealing a base, especially the catcher and pitcher.
At first base, Jason Thompson. He takes it to the back 3 unassisted to get Scott Service. They have to keep Ricky alert in left field.
Ricky has a lot of conversation with the people out there in the outfield. I was watching a couple games from here, and he was doing a lot of talking. You know, the fans really jump on him. Of course, the fans here have always been renowned to be awful tough on players. I remember when I was playing, you'd be doing your running or pre-game stuff, and boy, they were working you over. But Ricky talks back to him and has fun with him.
Jose Hernandez hits 8th in the lineup. Jimmy Navarro is due up next. There's a strike. Hernandez trying to hold up on the swing, but he's behind in the count, 0-1. Jose is the last man to reach base safely. 0-2 on Jose Hernandez.
Yeah, we've talked so often about what pitching is all about. Pitching is really keeping the hitters off balance. If you ever take batting practice or watch somebody taking batting practice, if you just change speeds a little bit, they don't hit the ball as hard. And that's what young Worrell, I give them a lot of credit. The battery, Brad Smith and Worrell have really handled it beautifully.
That's a strikeout. 9 in a row retired by Tim Worrell. And our game moves to the 8th inning at Wrigley Field in Chicago. The San Diego Padres are trying to break the losing streak, and they lead the Cubs 2-0.
Wobble to and fro. Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow? Can you play
Sling them over your shoulder like a continental soldier. Do your boys hang low?
Hey, contain yourself. Double Air Fly for good, solid support. Fruit of the Loom. Really, really comfortable underwear.
Can France and Italy, Austria and England, Germany, Spain and the Netherlands ever really agree on a single currency? Actually, they already have. Gold MasterCard. It's accepted at more cash machines than any other card. MasterCard. It's smart money.
This is the world's first 12-hour commercial. Long enough to eat a couple meals, to work a full day. Because that's how long Zantac 75 for heartburn helps prevent acid production for up to 12 hours. The medicine in Zantac 75 is so trusted that over the last 5 years, doctors have made it the most prescribed acid-reducing medicine in the world. It's been a great day.
Zantac 75, the final word in acid relief.
Athlete's foot. Why suffer the burning, the itching? Hit it hard with prescription strength Desonex. It has the same medicine that doctors prescribe. Nothing cures better. Nothing. Prescription strength Desonex, because prescription strength is strong medicine.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think?
Original and cooling blue.
By Menon.
These sisters may not look dangerous, but they are the nation's most elusive robbery team. Help track them down. Watch America's Most Wanted tonight.
A look inside the manually operated scoreboard at Wrigley Field. The score reads Padres 2, the Cubs nothing. Jimmy Navarro comes out to work. He throws ball one. We're in the 8th inning. Brad Osmus, Tim Worrell, and then Ricky Henderson coming up in the 8th for the Padres. The count to 2 balls and no strikes. Kent Bottenfield just joined the club today, was warming up down the left field line the last inning. He has stopped throwing, so no activity in either bullpen. Strike and a check swing. It's a strike anyway on Osmus. Osmus has a hit in 2 tries. Very good pitcher's game today, Jeff, with Navarro giving up a single and a home run in the 6th inning. Other than that, he has been terrific.
Both pitchers have been so sharp.
Out of play to the right side. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Jimmy Navarro in his last outing on Monday against the Phillies had a complete game, and I watched that game on television. I just was very impressed then the way he attacked hitters. Both these pitchers know what they're trying to do. They're using halves of the plate. They're not throwing the ball down the middle, but they're getting ahead of hitters if they can possibly do so.
Ball 3, 3 balls, 2 strikes. You were in Houston in late May when Navarro and Riggleman had a little blow up in the dugout.
Yeah, they did. And we even talked about it yesterday with both of them a little bit. And they said, well, it was an emotional thing. They were a little frustrated the way the game was going, and both of them got jumping one another.
Foul at the feet of the catcher, Scott Service. So Osmus still has life with the count 3-2.
But Jim Riggleman, as you see, is on the phone right now and probably calling down to the bullpen and say what they might plan on doing if something happens in this situation. But Jim said to us that, hey, it's like family. Sometimes that'll happen. You'll have some problems in the family. And the best thing to do is make sure you take care of it. Don't let it fester.
3-2. Strike 3 on Osmus. Let's go back to Chip Carey in Hollywood to get an update.
Okay, guys, how about former Cub Sean Dunston today at 3Com Park in San Francisco? He cuts a 4-0 Astro lead in half with his 100th career home run. A 2-run shot scores Stan Javier. Donnie Walls served it up in the bottom of the 7th. It's 4-2 Houston. Back to you at Wrigley.
Okay, thanks, Chip. 2-0 game here, Padres. Big swing and a miss by Tim Worrell. And Jamie Navarro wasn't leaving anything back, facing his counterpart Tim Worrell, who was struck out twice. Out of play to the right side, and no balls, 2 strikes.
It'll be interesting to see what happens right here. Very often one pitcher wants to make sure he makes the opposite, the opposing pitcher, look bad. Now, those were 2 fastballs. Let's see if he throws him a slider low and away here to really make him look bad, because remember, Jamie earlier in the game looked terrible waving at one himself.
Fastball, that's it. 7 strikeouts for Jamie Navarro, 2 this inning. With 2 outs, Ricky Henderson's coming up. What was that? Ricky Henderson for the day has a single, a run scored. Came in on the home run by Steve Finley. Next week on Saturday Baseball, Ken Griffey Jr. and the Seattle Mariners will take on Frank Thomas and the Chicago White Sox. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern, 11 Central, or at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central. Check your local listings for the game next week. Saturday afternoon baseball is back on Fox. Ricky Henderson with the Oakland A's, over to the Yankees, back to the Oakland A's, with the Toronto Blue Jays for a short time.
This guy is a future Hall of Famer. Talking about Winnie being a Hall of Famer.
All the way back to the screen it goes, and the count 1-1 on Ricky Henderson with 2 outs.
We had some of those good teams in the 80s with the Yankees, with Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, Ricky Henderson. Just a bunch, and we just could not get it done. We couldn't. The only year we won was 1981, but Ricky is, of course, I think Maury Wills revolutionized the game with a base running. Ricky has really taken another level.
The ball high. Henderson with a count of 2-1. Sliding head first. Henderson has taken such a beating. His body has just been beaten. His hands going into bases head first. Popped up on the first base line. Brent Brown in foul territory. He has it. Navarro's topped 100 pitches, but worked to a 3-3 down 8th inning. And as the Cubs are coming up, it's going to be the pitcher, then Brian McRae and Brent Brown. With the Padres ahead 2-0.
Hot, fiery. It's heartburn. This is Zantac 75. The medicine in here is so trusted that doctors have prescribed it more over the last 5 years than all other medicines of its kind combined. Just one Zantac 75 helps prevent acid production for up to 12 hours. It's the medicine you've been burning for.
Zantac 75, the final word in acid relief.
Game 22-10 about to start, and everyone's still wondering, where is Cal Ripken Jr.? Could this be the end of the streak? What could possibly keep him from taking the field?
Introducing the Major League Baseball Collector Series phone card from 7-Eleven and Classic.
Okay, kids. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a beast.
A collection of 15-minute prepaid 7-Eleven phone cards that can save you up to 50% on long-distance calls, so you can really talk up a streak.
How long will they hold this game?
There are a lot of compelling reasons for buying a Dodge Ram. A potent line of Magnum engines, the most available towing of any pickup, payload capacity of up to 2.5 tons. But perhaps the weightiest argument is this. Dodge Ram has higher resale than Ford, Chevy, or GMC. The rules have indeed changed.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Network MCI, how to get modern communications technology working for your business. By MasterCard, it's smart money. By new Speed Stick Gel by Menon, it's the best gel protection and it's just for the guys. And by Zantac 75, the final word in acid relief.
They have fun inside the ballpark and outside the ballpark. We're up on the roof before the game today, surveying Wrigley Field, watching the fans come into the ballpark and then take their places on the rooftops. Jamie Navarro is finished for the day. He went 8 innings. Gave up 2 runs. Has allowed 3 hits by the San Diego Padres. A single and a homer in the 6th inning put him behind 2-0. And he has been lifted for bench batter Scott Bullitt. Bullitt is quite capable of hitting the long ball. 6 out of 22 as a pinch hitter. Had a 5-for-5 game against the Phillies earlier this week. He takes strike 1. Bullitt is hitting at a .342 average. 2 homers, 6 RBIs. Down the right field line, and there's a pinch hit to the corner. Tony Gwynn plays the ball at the warning track. And Schultz at second with a pinch hit double, leading off the Cubs' 8th inning. The tying run comes to the plate, and Brian McRae.
Boy, John, that's big for this club. As you notice, Navarro cheering his team on. Well, when you take a pinch hitter up there and he jumps, his pitcher has been getting him out, and there's a ball in the middle of the plate, turns on it with a head out on the bat, and he lines the ball down the right field line. That is really big. And with that, the bullpen gets going for the Padres down the right field line.
Both bullpens are active right now. You see Bullitt turning it on to second base. He's there for Brian McRae. McRae has been on base one time today, and that was on an error.
Yeah, I had to take it to him. I got to give away about 20 more. I get him right.
This is to the shortstop. Lopez's play is first, and McRae is out with Bullitt taking third. In Denver, it is still raining. Tried to get the game started between the Phillies and the Rockies at one point. They were about to lift the tarp, and then the rain started pouring again. So we'll keep you updated on the Phillies and the Rockies from Coors Field in Denver today. Largest crowd of the season here this season. Swing and a miss. Brian McRae is grounded out, and Brant Brown is trying to drive in a run. With 39,465 at Wrigley Field watching the Cubs and Padres. Brant Brown has a hit in 3 at-bats. Single, a flyout, and a strikeout. Going to go out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. And the middle infielders for the Padres play back, including their first baseman, Jason Thompson, now. And Caminetti backs up at third with 2 strikes on the hitter.
You know, John, a lot of times, and you can see Jim Riggleman looking out at his club thinking about what he wants to do in this situation. But it's always good to have a hitter at the plate who's this type of hitter, puts the ball in play, especially with a runner at third base.
On the right side, and that's going to get a run in. RBI for Brant Brown in his first big league game. It's a 2-1 lead now for Tim Morrell on the San Diego Padres. What an exciting day for Brant Brown, Jeff.
Oh, outstanding. We didn't see it happen on the field, but normally when you get your first hit, they'll throw the ball in, the umpire will roll it to the dugout, but this was a good piece of hitting here. They were giving the run, and I say the Padres defense were playing back in the middle, giving up a run and a ground ball, and it was not a real good pitch, but he got the bat on the ball enough that he at least got the run in.
Gonzalez takes the ball outside. He's 0 for 2 with the base on balls. That came back in the 3rd inning. So a 2-1 game now. 1 ball and 1 strike. And this is the longest career outing for Tim Morrell, working into the 8th inning. Morrell has just made his 100th pitch. Prior to today, he had gone 7 innings. 2 balls, 1 strike. Gonzalez hits 3rd in the lineup for Jim Riggleman. 275 hitter. To the shortstop, Lopez. And that's it in the 8th inning for the Cubs, but they picked up a run on 1 hit. Advanced runners with ground balls, scoring on a ground out by Brant Brown. We move to the 9th inning with the Padres up by a run.
Get a tough case of athlete's foot, and you're benched. You get that itching, the cracking, the burning. That's when you want a medicine that acts tough. Boom! Tough Actin Tenactin. It cures even tough cases of athlete's foot. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
Steve Young here. You know, Crispy Wheaties and Raisins has plump raisins, sweet flakes, and an incredible crunch.
I love the crunch.
Linebackers.
Come crunch time, there's only one. Crispy Wheaties and Raisins.
This is the world's first 12-hour commercial. Long enough to eat a couple meals. To work a full day. Because that's how long Zantac 75 for heartburn helps prevent acid production for up to 12 hours. The medicine in Zantac 75 is so trusted that over the last 5 years, doctors have made it the most prescribed acid-reducing medicine in the world. It's been a great day.
Zantac 75, the final word in acid relief.
This is about the virtual office, about breaking the chains, stretching the boundaries,
and making the world your workplace. About taking your business everywhere and anywhere. About paging, laptops, cell phones, the internet, and conferencing. And it's not conversation or speculation. This is about how one company can give you the help, hardware, and software to make your virtual office a reality. This is about how far you can go once you know how. Network MCI, that's how.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to be cool. Hang out with other guys who are cool. But even cool guys sweat. 40% more than women, in fact. So how you gonna stay cool? With something new. Speed Stick Gel. Proven to keep you drier than any other gel. So you feel your coolest. It's the best gel protection. And guys, no matter how cool they are, need all the protection they can get. New Speed Stick Gel. It's just for the guys.
Cops know catching bad guys is tough. Tonight, see the ones that almost got away. No! A full hour of Cops. Tonight at 8, 7 Central.
2-1, the Padres are leading as we go to the 9th inning, and Tim Morrell received a nice greeting as he came back to the dugout between innings. Gave up a run.
Nice job, Timmy. Go ahead, throw the ball. Now, baby. Good job, Pussy. Hey. Go! Hey, let's get a couple more.
So that's a battle cry in the dugout for the San Diego Padres, who lead 2-1. Bullitt stays in the game to play left field. Gonzalez is out now, and taking Luis Gonzalez's spot in the lineup in the number 3 position is Bob Patterson, the left-hander, on for Navarro. Strike one as the left-hander has come on to pitch to left-handed batting Steve Finley, Tony Gwynn. The numbers on Bob Patterson this season: 26 strikeouts, 11 bases on balls. To the middle, behind second base, and his throw goes into the crowd. So Finley, who over in his last at bat, he's going to be a runner at second base, leading off the 9th inning.
John, on this pitch here, this ball kind of jammed him, almost looked like it stuck to his bat and had a funny spin on it. And Hernandez had to kind of double clutch, and with that double clutch, he didn't have hold of the ball, and it just took off and bounced it away from the playing field. And it was just one of those things that, with Finley running as well as he could, he might not have had a chance at him anyway. That's one of those balls, after you hesitate, you put it in your back pocket.
Well, the Cubs just scored a run to cut the lead to 2-1. Now the Padres are in business with an infield hit and a throwing error, placing Steve Finley at second base. One ball and no strikes on Tony Gwynn. Here's Bob Patterson. Patterson has pitched for the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Texas Rangers, the last 2 seasons, a member of the California Angels, and now back in the National League with the Cubs. Lefty against lefty. The count 1 ball, 1 strike on Tony Gwynn. Why do you think he's traveled so much?
Well, I tell you what, his stuff probably isn't exceptional, but there's such a dearth of left-handers in Major League Baseball and professional baseball that can get left-handers out. Sometimes they go to face a left-hander and they get behind an account, and all of a sudden they don't take advantage of the fact they're left-handed. But Bob is 37 years old and knows his role.
Got the fastball over the outside corner, 1 ball, 2 strikes. I remember watching him pitch for the Pirates, Jeff, in 90, 91, 92 in the playoffs. And he put together a 0-0 record, 193 ERA in 5 games through those 3 playoff series. And had a save. And the Pirates didn't make it to the World Series. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, the way Jim Riggleman has set up his bullpen now, and they're starting to come together, he'll use as a setup man either Bob Patterson or Terry Adams to get to Wendell. And Turk Wendell is up now. He has become their closer, and today they released Doug Jones, who they originally signed to be their closer. But it gives you a little comfort zone as a manager to have a left-hander come in to nullify the left-handed hitters on the other team.
Finley at second base, nobody out. Tony Gwynn spoils off the pitch to stay alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tony's going to need a new bat. He's wearing a new shoe on the right foot that Nike designed to help relieve some pressure from the very, very sore right heel. Talked about Gwynn and his videotape and how he studies his swings time after time. Also refers to Ted Williams, The Science of Hitting, several times throughout the year.
Jim Riggleman's going out to the mound now to talk to Bob Patterson, but I was about to say, a couple years ago, I did a clinic with Tony Gwynn and Don Mattingly. And obviously, they didn't ask me to talk about hitting. I just did the narration of maybe how not to do it. But those two guys got up and talk about hitting. And Tony said at first, well, I don't know if I can teach hitting. We said, just talk about how you do it. It was just awesome. This guy really thinks about what he wants to do at the plate. He just kind of figures out and visualizes. And as you say, all the study that he's done off the videotape. That's why he's as good a hitter as he is.
Tony, bothered by the bad heel, seeing the average drop to around the 330 level this year. He's slumping. In left field, this is Bullock. Tagging up at second, Steve Finley. He's trying to go to third and makes it. Patterson backs up the throw coming from left fielder Scott Bullock. Runner at third, but one out.
Now, we talked early in the game. The San Diego Padres have lost 8 in a row. And one of the things they have to do is make sure they stay aggressive. Now, here's Scott Bullock catching this ball. And Steve Finley is almost running right in his face. He's just going from second to third, forcing the issue. And that's staying aggressive. You've got to do that.
And a good throw, hasn't it?
Yes, it does. But, you know, aggressiveness, they forced it, and it was not a perfect throw.
Now the Cub infielders are going to have to play in tight. An intentional walk is in the works here to Caminiti to get to Jason Thompson. Thompson is going to be lifted for a pinch batter as Marky Sanfranco comes to the on-deck circle.
You can see there's Jim Riggleman. Both managers studying their lineup cards and working on their matchups with their pitchers and their hitters.
Ball 3, one more wide one, and Caminiti will be a base runner for the second time. 4 trips to the plate today, and there's Sanfranco. And Wendell throwing in the bullpen down the left field line for the Cubs.
Of course, you know what Jim Riggleman's thinking about at that particular time. Here's Caminiti, who is their big sock. You put him at first base, possibly you can get a ground ball and turn a double play and keep the run from scoring. But that would mean then that you must keep the ball down in the strike zone. Now here goes Jim Riggleman. He's waited for the umpire to say that officially Sanfranco has been announced.
So Sanfranco has been announced, and Riggleman to the mound, going to the bullpen. And Turk Wendell is going to be the new pitcher. We have a 2-1 game, so the left-hander Bob Patterson faces 3 men, gives up a hit to Finley, fly out by Gwynn, and intentional walk to King Caminiti. So with the pitching change at Wrigley Field and a 1-run lead for the San Diego Padres, we'll take a break and come right back to the north side of Chicago.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to be cool. Hang out with other guys who are cool. But even cool guys sweat. 40% more than women, in fact. So how you gonna stay cool? With something new. Speed Stick Gel. Proven to keep you drier than any other gel. So you feel your coolest. It's the best gel protection. And guys, no matter how cool they are, need all the protection they can get. New Speed Stick Gel. It's just for the guys. You're making the move. Finding your own place. Some things work, some don't. When you find what you want, you'll know it. Got that now in a brand new beer from Miller. New Miller is brewed a whole new way, from the heart of the hops, for flavor unlike any other beer. Big flavor that goes down easy. Brand new Miller beer. Reach for what's out there.
There's a place in New York owned by the biggest sports stars around.
You know, I like to with long hair.
And you never know when they'll show up.
Long. Short.
It's the official All-Star Cafe.
Ken Griffey Jr., 301 lifetime average.
Where the owners are always willing to help out.
Excuse me, it's 302.
So if you go, bring the right stats and the right card. Visa, because the All-Star doesn't take American Express.
301 lifetime average.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Here comes the pitch.
Take me out to the ball game.
Okay.
Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and some Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you out at the old ball game. What a game.
The new pitcher is Turk Wendell for the Chicago Cubs, who trail the San Diego Padres 2-1. Runners at first and third, one out in the ninth inning, and there's Wendell on in relief of Bob Patterson. Infield in tight now. Sinfracco takes ball one. Archie Sinfracco, the batter. The numbers for Turk Wendell: 4-1, a 1.98 ERA. He has saved 6 games. He has earned saves in each of his last 3 opportunities, including back-to-back games on June 8th and 9th against Montreal. The Red Dots, runners at first and third. Caminiti at first, Finley at third. Right. Fastball in there, 1 ball and 1 strike on Sinfracco, who's 0 for 8 as a pinch hitter. He's hitting .314 for the Padres. 18 runs batted in. He stepped in to play some first base with Wally Joyner out.
He's a good hitter, John. He started out with the Montreal organization. I remember he was a good low ball hitter. Now here's a situation where the Cubs are hoping to get a ground ball, want the ball down in the zone to get the ground ball, but Sinfracco is a good low ball hitter. It's a pretty good matchup.
We've got a great game here today, a great pitcher's game, 2-1 in favor of the Padres. Fake to third and the look to first. You know, I'd say that play never works.
Yeah, it does. I've seen that play work a lot with Jack McDowell, especially. Yes.
But how many times do you hear, oh, that play never works?
Yes.
I've seen it work with Jack McDowell, Kirk McCaskill. Steve Busby of the Royals used to execute that play beautifully.
He's the first one I saw do that and do it well.
But it has to be a part of the pitcher's motion to the plate, coming out of that stretch position, where the pitcher sells a move to the plate to get the reaction of the runners taking off first or third. And we saw McDowell pick off a runner at third base one time.
Yeah, you
at the corner.
Do all sorts of things out of that. What you're trying to do is keep the runners close.
1-1 the count. A pitch out. Nothing on. Good spot for suicide squeeze with a 1-run lead.
Yeah, you've got the mind games going on now. Both managers checking out the other dugout, seeing what they might be trying to do here. Wendell's an interesting story, or Wendell, I should say, in that he had been a starter with the Braves, came over in a trade, and now Jim Riggleman has made him his closer. They're developing a closer right on the spot.
Randy Myers was here last year. Now he's in Baltimore. Moving back toward the outfield grass, Sandberg. But this belongs to Sammy Sosa. Long run in for Sosa. The runners hold at first and third with 2 out. The big out for Wendell and the Cubs.
Boy, you're not kidding. That was a big out. You would have liked something like that, a pop-up or a double play ball or a strikeout. That was a very, very big at-bat.
A good thing for the Cubs that was such a high pop-up. With the infield playing in, we've seen so many baseballs just drop in between the second baseman and the right fielder.
Yes, a little bloop shot, especially from a strong guy who fights the ball off him. But I'll tell you, the job's not done yet. Jody Reed is a tough, pesky little hitter. So Wendell has got to continue to make his pitches. You really got to stay focused here.
Over but high, a ball to Jody Reed, who has popped out, grounded out, and struck out today.
So Wendell was known more for some of his crazy antics before than his pitching. He used to jump way over the line, run in the dugout. He was chewing liquors, and he'd brush his teeth in the dugout. I think they suggested he stop doing that. Well, whatever he's doing, it's working.
Breaking ball on 1-0. And on the appeal, Frank Foley says no swing. 2 balls, no strikes on Jody Reed, with Caminiti at first and Steve Finley at third.
You know what amazes me watching the umpires call that play? That check swing. They're almost always right. If you ever, by the naked eye, sometimes you say, oh, it can't be. Those guys are almost always right on those calls. It's amazing.
Most of the time, they hit it close.
Yes.
Most of the time, that bat has gone through the hitting zone over the plate. Ball 3, 3 balls and no strikes. And Luis Lopez is waiting to bat next for the San Diego Padres. As you look at Turk Wendell, Jimmy Navarro started. Patterson came on to work the beginning of the 9th inning. And Wendell took over with runners at the corners and got a fly ball to short right field from Sinfracco.
Now we got a 3-0 count. Now normally you don't let a singles hitter swing away in this situation, but the way the Padres are struggling, you might see him hit away here.
Taking, and it's ball 4. The bases are loaded with 2 out. 2 walks in the inning. 1 for Patterson, now this for Turk Wendell. Luis Lopez, a switch hitter, 203 batter left-handed, 0 for 3 today. And he can break the game open with a hit here.
The shot you see right now is Jamie Navarro just thinking about, oh, you got more runs. It's tough enough in your last at bat to overcome a one-run deficit.
Middle of the order will be coming up for the Cubs. Is trying to keep the score at 2-1. One strike on Lopez. On the other side, Lopez is trying to open the game for the San Diego Padres, who have lost 8 consecutive games. And they have the Dodgers breathing down their necks. With the Dodgers winning today, they're only a half game out in the West.
And the tough part, we were talking to Ken Caminiti yesterday. We were asking him, is it tougher when you're ahead, quite a bit ahead in a race like that, or when you're following or chasing somebody? He said it's tougher when you're ahead.
That's a ball low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, I've been in some of these losing streaks as a player and coach and manager. They're really tough. You just don't feel like you're ever going to win another ball game.
On the road, the Padres have won 18 and dropped 12. On the right side, foul. That's an 18 and 12 road record for the Padres compared to 18 and only won 1 home game in their last stay at Jack Murphy Stadium.
Yeah, you just look at that and say, how can that be? That's a beautiful ballpark, great place to play. You got the home crowd for you, and they've been having the big crowds. Sometimes, no matter what you do, it doesn't work.
Now at Wrigley Field, the noise, this big crowd of better than 39,000. That's 39,465 paid today. Behind Wendell to send the game. Now again on the right side. Luis Lopez is 0 for 3. He's going down swinging, isn't he?
Well, that's the thing. You look at numbers and you sit in the other dugout and say, well, he's a 188 hitter. We can get him out easily. Anybody with a pitch, a mistake pitch, say, in the middle of the plate. You talk about people being good triple hitters. Well, even poor hitters, I remember, can hit certain pitches if you make mistakes with them.
The 3 dots mean the bases are loaded. 2 out. Got him on strikes. A hit, an error, 2 walks, 3 left on, 5 stranded by the Padres. The Padres need 3 outs to break their losing streak, while the Cubs need a run to tie it and 2 to win it. We go to the bottom of the 9th. San Diego is still leading 2-1.
Bye-bye. Hey. Go.
Oh, no. The tamper-resistant signature panel, pioneered by MasterCard. It makes a stolen card practically worthless. MasterCard. It's smart money.
Hey, Bullseye!
It's finally here. What everyone's been waiting for. The premier event of the summer.
You'll be channel surfing in no time.
You'll laugh.
I'm just jerking your chin.
You'll cry.
Oh, Billy.
You'll guzzle. The buy 3, get 1 free super big golf offer, featuring special cable guy cups. Now appearing at a 7-Eleven near you.
Got any Tylenol, Jill?
Oh, when did you switch to Tylenol?
When my doctor told me some pain relievers could irritate my stomach.
Really? Pain relievers?
Yeah, my doctor said that aspirin and even ibuprofen can sometimes irritate your stomach.
Oh, no kidding.
No, it doesn't, and it works great.
To avoid the chance of stomach irritation, Tylenol is the pain reliever recommended most by doctors.
How's your stomach?
Stuffed.
Oh.
Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
I asked my mother, shall I be rich? Here's what me cake that I.
Frames have been crushed. Doesn't mean your boys have to be. 100% cotton, cut from really underwear.
In their world, every a brand new LA Firefighters, Monday on Fox.
John Rooney at Wrigley Field, and we're in the bottom of the 9th inning with the Padres Padres leading the Cubs 2-1. The hits are even at 4. Each team is. Trevor Hoffman is facing Sammy Sosa. 1 ball, no strikes on Sosa. His last at bat for the Cubs. And in this case, he can tie the game with a long ball. He's on base. Sosa. Too much here. He gets a single. And there's 2 on 4.
Now add to the drama. Sosa can steal a base. He can run and can steal a base. Now whether they'll try to do something, I don't know, but you got the situation over. One of these type of hitters who can put the ball in. Exciting player, and when the fans get excited with him, it stirs him up. He feeds off the fans.
Bochy doesn't stay long. Hoffman has saved 11 games. 4-2 record with a 1.44 ERA. Appearance number 25 out of the Padre bullpen. When the Padres were climbing to the top of the National League West, Jeff, their bullpen was getting the job done night after night.
They were the best in baseball for a while, and Trevor Hoffman's been there before now. He had 31 saves last year.
Strike 1 call with Magadan showing bunt.
Now that can be a decoy. Sometimes when you have a guy, a pretty good hitter, goes up there and looks like he's going to bunt, he's looking to see what happens, maybe to gauge the speed, but also making the opposition think that he is bunting, and then might go for possibly a straight cripple pitch thinking he is bunting.
Joe's bunt again, and Magadan takes a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, this makes me kind of laugh when I'm thinking about it. I see Tony Muser giving them the signs, but I was managing the Mets, and I asked Dave to bunt one time. He said after the game to the writers, I've never been asked to bunt before in the major leagues, and that was really a shock to me.
The way he handles the bat.
Yes.
You'd think he'd bunted a bunch. Magadan is 0 for 3 today. Sosa's the tying run at first base. The bunt on the right side moves Sosa into scoring position. 1-4 on the out at first, with Jody Reed covering the bag. Sosa singled. Now he's at second on the sacrifice.
Well, we get into philosophy here, and you're looking at Jim Riggleman. The philosophy a lot of managers use is you'll play for a tie at home, knowing that you have the last at bat. A lot of clubs say, well, I will not play for the tie on the road. I always felt, hey, you got to tie before you win, even if you're behind. And so I would bunt in either situation, but now they've got Sammy Sosa in scoring position with Sandberg up, and here come the Cubs again.
It leaves first base open. You know, managers don't like to walk the winning run to first base, but you did it a time or two, and as I recall, you got away with it.
Yeah, my heart was pounding when I did it because it's against the book, and you know you can really take an awful beating if it doesn't work, but you have to go by your gut.
Ryan Sandberg, the batter. Oh, he tried to hold up and went too far on the swing. 1 strike.
And what the all have their computer reports on. For an example, Sandberg against Hoffman in the past. Remember too that Ryan is so it's kind of a good to the field, and the also rely
on Sandberg. Ryan got a single the first time up. He has grounded out and flied out since. 1 out in the ninth.
Now they've given him 2 balls that he possibly could pull. This will be interesting to see where they go. Do they go back in, try to go away from him and see if he'll chase something?
In the dirt and blocked by Osmus.
Wow, that was a nice. His glove. The dirty went down to both feet, both knees, I should say. Boy, why didn't that one get by?
But Sandberg didn't chase the ball in the dirt.
No.
2. On your left, Sandberg. That's Sammy Sosa. Got him on strikes. Sandberg is out number 2, and now the Cubs are down to their last out with Scott Service coming up. Base hit can tie it. The long ball can win it here.
That was a heck of a pitch, and as you watch Jamie Navarro, you can just imagine what he's thinking. Boy, come on, boys. Boy, an outstanding pitch. It was an off-speed pitch. It looks like a split finger, and that ball just dove down and in, and Ryan Sandberg swung over it.
Service has 9 home runs, 32 runs batted in. He has not hit safely today. Hoffman throws ball 1. Have to wait on Greg Bonin, the home plate umpire, to make sure it's a ball or a strike.
John, when you think about having lost 8 games in a row, the stomach.
And how tough is this out?
Oh, Bruce Bochy's stomach has got to be killing him here. You got a runner at second base, and it's always the last out is the tough.
Popped up, back our way. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, a lot of these managers stand there. There's Bruce. Bruce is looking around. A lot of these managers stand there looking like they're real cool. Well, they might be cool on the outside, but that stomach is rolling and churning. And so is Jim Riggleman's on the other side. They really look like they're in control, but I can tell you, boy, it is a tough time out there in this situation. Both sides of the field.
Hoffman is trying to save the game for Tim Worrell. The red dot at second is Sammy Sosa. He singled, moved up on a sacrifice. Sosa represents the tying run. Out of play to the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Service. The Cubs are down to their last strike.
Well, Trevor Hoffman and Brad Ausmus are not messing around. They're going right at him. They run that good hard sinker and that fastball inside, and they were able to strike Ryan Sandberg down and away. And it just the 2 starters are still sitting in the dugout. A lot of times the starters go in the clubhouse. The 2 starters, both Jamie Navarro, Tim Worrell, are in the dugouts watching the finish of this one.
1 and 2, 2 out. Hoffman on the mound, Service the batter. To the third baseman. And Caminiti is going to run to tag Sammy Sosa for the last out, and this game has come to an end. As Sosa got caught off second base for the last out. Who knows, Jeff, maybe a wild throw can allow Sosa to come on around.
That's exactly right. He took the easy out. And the winning streak, or the winning streak is broken, and the losing streak is broken as well.
The 8-game losing streak is over for the Padres as they win today. The final score of 2-1. And today's genuine Chevrolet player of the game is Steve Finley. We go back to the 6th inning with Ricky Henderson on base. He cleared the ivy and the basket in right field. And Steve Finley, reaching double figures with his 10th home run of the year, made it 2-0. The Cubs cut into the lead with a run in the 8th, and then Sammy Sosa was in scoring position and ran right into the last out of the game on the ground ball to Caminiti. Sosa was out, 5 unassisted. Our final score today, San Diego over the Cubs. San Diego stays a game ahead of the Los Angeles Dodgers. The winner is Tim Worrell. Hoffman gets his 12th save. Jamie Navarro, the loser, he drops to 4 up and 7 down. And with the win, Worrell is 5-1, and he won in his second start. For Jeff Torborg, I'm John Rooney. Thank you so much for joining us today on this picture-perfect day for baseball from Wrigley Field. Our final score 2-1, the Padres over the Cubs. Chip Carey, Steve Lyons, and Dave Winfield will be along. They'll have scores and highlights right after these messages.